Skip ahead a little if need be. Wait to the viewers. Preferably somebody saying something in the chat as well. I guess more than my other ones. This is very interesting. So I'm just waiting for anybody who might want to come into the conversation. Ooh, I do want to remember to do something though, because I know that a lot of people find live streams by scrolling and they might not see the title. I don't know why I pronounced the T like that, the title. But so I want to put it in the comments because it will also help, engage things. I'm being impatient to wait for this to open on my computer. And I'm very tempted to go back to the tab I was just looking at beforehand. But I'm hoping it'll show up. When it starts spinning, that usually is at me. Okay, there we go. I should go from it and then come back. It hadn't even registered that I clicked the thing yet. And it still isn't. So already though, I'm kind of seeing a bit of a kind of I don't know how to put it, but let me just put the title in here. We got 2 of you just tuned in. I welcome you here. I'm about 3 minutes into this, and yeah, I'm just going to put the title here for the scroller. Just a moment, please. And also, just check something else. I appreciate your patience. I think that this is a so I'm just looking at something on my screen here. I think that this is a topic that will resonate with you. I guess I'll say it once out loud. Our dog's being a bit distracting. And I really shouldn't say this soon because I'm not going to admit to do this if I don't. Okay. My device is just being slow again. I'll wait to see if you left. Okay, perfect timing. I finally got this loaded. Sorry about our noisy dog. He'll settle down in a moment. Okay. I'm just trying to put the title of this into the chat. I just brought it up on the computer. I'm waiting for the chat on the computer to open so that I can put it in there. But I can most likely, hopefully, see your comments via the cell phone here. And this is something that I think is going to be very relatable. I might do some music covers as well. I'm not sure. We'll see how that maybe comes into it. Okay, looks like you've left. If not, then the good thing is that I can actually make the title of the comment a little bit longer than the title, I think, if it ever shows up. There we go. Okay, so I'm just putting this through there so you can see what this is about. It's actually quite short. Felt longer when I was typing it as the title. Um, okay. So you can see the highlighted comment there. That's what this is about, other than maybe doing music. Okay, now I feel a bit really about this. Distracting. So, what appreciating living the legacies that loved ones leave with us when they pass away, tributes, and maybe a bonus gift. So, I've had a lot of loved ones pass away, and there are some kind of generic things. I mean, not for that to come across wrong, but being kind-hearted, being helpful. Um, but those are also pretty good things, right? Um, and um, enjoying having a good time is another one, I guess. Um, I'm not too sure if I can think of any before much conversation happens that are super specific to individual, but I'm sure other people probably could. And I'm referring to the highlighted comment that I put there. Been rolling for about okay, uh, uh, almost 8 minutes, so not super long yet. Um, I will, I guess, say one thought that comes to mind. Hopefully, it'll come across the way I intend for it to. Um, One thought that comes to mind is to appreciate those that we have in our lives. Um, if if they're able, if we think they're able to help us, to not be ashamed. I'm especially referring to if we need help getting to something that could be very positive for us in our lives and possibly unfold other positive things um, that we may otherwise struggle to get the opportunity. Otherwise, I think that we should be, you know, not ashamed to ask because, yeah, I mean, if they say yes, not only do you get to spend time together, but it could be a positive thing for both. I did that, but it'd be a both. Look at that looks like anything. Wow. I'd rather do it. But once we get a good conversation going, it's possible that people will be, willing to figure out it. Just yeah. I would only be able to put 5 minutes. But yeah, so basically, what are some from yours, from your loved ones? What are some that and I it's okay. One of the phrases that one of mine left me with was "feel the feels," and for the most part, I like that. Um, so you know, okay, okay. So basically, and if you're just coming in now, I know this is a bit of a spot to come in on, but I'm only 9 minutes in, so I mean, I'm not much into the topic. But what I'm kind of wanting to suggest is facilitating a conversation where we talk about our loved ones that have passed away to carry on their legacy, essentially. You could also look at it as what are some of the things uh, that you feel you still need from would like to have from them if you could. But more than that, like for instance, oh hello Oliver, I'm so glad you're here. For instance, maybe what was something that was said at their eulogy by you or by someone else or at their funeral. Um, that's usually a pretty good indication as to if I mean, with my one friend, thanks for the second like, by the way. I think it was Oliver, but I'm not sure. With my one friend being a great singer, actually, there was a few musical friends, so I could say that. Um, yeah. Um, But otherwise, I'm struggling, chapstick if you're curious, chapstick if you're not. I'm struggling to think of, what some of those things might be. But I thought it might be worthwhile to have a conversation about it, and that could be lovely for all of us. So, time like these, we live to live again. Is that the song I'm hearing on the radio right now? If so, that's kind of ironic. So, yeah, I know I'm familiar with one of our viewers. I know where you're watching from. It's not your first time to the channel, but those are sometimes the questions I ask. So the second person is welcome to say. I should open this up on, well, it is open already, but I should look at this on the other device in case. And Oliver, as I may have asked you the other day, if there's any comments that I'm not seeing that are not obviously like trolls or somebody saying something stupid, because like if I'm not seeing it, then not much I can do about it. But if they're genuinely trying to be part of the conversation, I don't want to be ignoring them. If I'm not seeing the comments, could you or somebody please let me know what they are? Usually the comments show, but every now and then they don't seem to. So, and I don't know if all you've said so far is hi, Oliver, but that's all I've seen. So, yeah, no problem. Okay, yeah, and even sometimes somebody who's some of them they do show, some of them they still don't. So yeah, times like these, time and time, yeah. So, another way that I would like to bring into this conversation, another way that I could ask, is there a particular song that specifically makes you think of a loved one? I'm more so meaning loved ones that have passed away, but perhaps any. Um, and I wouldn't be surprised if while doing this, I might hear some of them on the radio. By the way, can you hear the radio? Like it's at a fair volume, so I'd be surprised if you couldn't. I don't know who does that song. So, hello, Oliver. And I'm really thinking, yeah, I'll probably eat at 11, which is kind of usual. And it's a little bit earlier than I'd like to have lunch because then I get hungry late afternoon before G's home. But I haven't really eaten. Well, I mean, I sometimes don't have more than cookies, and that's pretty much what I had. So I'm kind of hungry. Not really for the options we have, but I'm thankful that we have options. Can you guys hear the radio? Like, I don't have this set to be monetized, this video. I'm just wondering if you can. I'll start up so you can let me know. And also to the second person here that didn't. Okay. I have a feeling it's just Oliver here, but I'm not entirely sure. Could be the other person that stayed. If you didn't process because you were distracted or whatever, what I said, kind of the main theme of this is, it's in the highlighted comments. So that I put. So 2.5 lines. Not a lot of scrolling needed at this point yet to be able to find it. So. For me, it's a little bit of a tricky question, I feel, because I have so many that have passed away, like to know where to begin other than what I've said. But it's interesting because something does keep coming up in my mind about one of them. Um, I'm just gonna. I probably shouldn't ascertain this person, but it was all said in the post, but it was a bit of a long post. Just a moment. I'm just responding to somebody on a post on something. With Well, and so far, there's just one other person kind of saying that. Actually, is there more than what I'm? Okay, so one of the other things that they left me with, but I'm already this way, is not being judgy of others. I mean, we're all gonna have opinions. We're all gonna, be trying to, figure out people and what we think of them and that's normal. But I mean, um, like for instance, I can't remember exactly why, but I'm looking at a post that in a group, and there was somebody that I remember last summer, maybe, or possibly 2 summers ago. They had, I think, commented or at least liked my post, and it had something to do with the summer festival. And they had the same cover photo that they did then, and I not too sure what I think of it because it looks like uh, uh, some people don't know how to not be vague. Apparently, it's weird. Anyway, I'm just very, quite detail oriented for the most part. Um, anyway, it's a picture of somebody who looks like. I mean, I'm not going to say it looks super aggressive, but um, a dog, a nice, a nice looking, a dog that is usually a very gentle breed, but like any dog, um, they go into protective mode when the need, feel the need. Looks like he got a hold of the person's arm. And I guess, looking at it now, there are sometimes more than one way to see something. So if we're initially seeing something in a negative way or in a uncertain way, maybe there's a way to look at it where we don't feel that way. For instance, oh, look at that. For instance, I am looking at that now as maybe his dog just does that and he thinks it's cute. I don't know if I would say that it's all that cute, but maybe he thinks it is. Uh, what's also interesting is somebody posted about seeing a type of animal that I associate as a spirit animal to one of my loved ones. And I would say that that's sometimes, a legacy, certain signs, symbols, uh, animals maybe, although I don't see them as much in the city. But what's ironic about it is this other individual, it's not recent, but it's the most recent post in the group. And it shows that they have this particular animal um, next to their, sitting next to their car. And I look at that as a sign right there to possibly reach out um, to this person. And I'm trying to firm up some things. And so I think that it could be helpful to do so. He seemed to understand me at least 2 or 3 times on different occasions in writing. Seems to be a good person. The only mutual, if I recognize that image, is not someone we're super close with. But so yeah, I'm going to look at that. And what's also, well, okay, it's just his settings. It says that he hasn't posted anything since 2024, but he just reacted to your comment. And he reacted kind of seeming upset to somebody who wasn't trying to understand the post. Um, Maybe relates to that kind of frustration. So it's been somewhat, it depends, but the other person in the home more so, really. Um, but yes, now again, going back to, I make all that progress and, talking about judgment, but then I look at one of his posts and it doesn't exactly look friendly in that picture. Plus, he's kind of half behind the car window. Um, and then, I don't know, fishing just grows me up. And he has some pictures of that kind of stuff. Like and especially humongous catches. Like I don't get it. But maybe the message isn't. Maybe this was. Maybe the message isn't in. About that. Oliver, are you still there? About that person as much as it is. Try not to have judgments in general. Um, at least negative ones. Try not to let and try. You know, I do believe in the power of first impressions, but I also believe that first impressions can be wrong sometimes, especially first impressions that are negative. It's actually fairly well known that some people are going to see the negative before they first you know and that's just maybe because we go through those kind of things. I mean, we go through both in life, but um, I don't even want to say they have more impact. But why do you think it is? Why do you think it is? That just a little side topic. Um, if I was to give my answer, I mean, I try to be an optimistic and positive person. But I would say that, yeah, life has its challenges. And when you are confronted with or struggling with such, you know, challenges, it can be very to only see that is what I guess I'm trying to say. But what does everybody else think? We've only got two people here, but I'm only 23 minutes in. But yeah, why do you feel that either you or most people see the negative uh, before the positive sometimes? And also, um, yeah, I mean, if I part of me, I don't know. Oops, what's this one here? Part of me would have just posted that as a video, but I couldn't. And I used there was one point in time when I seen that um, but Oh, I'm also just going to quickly say, um, well, I don't know. No, because if I was to say that, that individual would say, so you did think it, but you did it that way anyway. But I know I did it. I said that that was why I did it. And if the individual doesn't understand it, then he doesn't. Anyway, sorry. Um, if the second person is putting comments, I'm not seeing them at the moment. Let me just go one more time to check on the computer. I don't see anything else. Oliver's phone must have died. Plus, well, no, it should be early enough there. Yeah, unfortunate about Mark. Mark. Well, I think that's saying something about Joey. But I haven't known that many Marks. I wonder. Well, but no. I'll be right back. I'll be right back. If she was too busy to man, with a favor, I think. Or to be involved in okay, she got her own. If she didn't have kids, it's just a job. wow, I just felt something really powerful suddenly. Not that I don't often, but I'll tell you what it was. So, I was thinking about one of my loved ones, and I was thinking about how at the top of her page on Facebook, it says, live the life you want to live, or something like that. And I'm just thinking of the power in that now, because, and I think I'm just going to, I'll have that wrapped maybe next like that. Or do I want a piece of pizza? No, not really. Not because it's not restaurant pizza. Anyway, the power of that statement. I mean, it makes sense, doesn't it? You know, we wouldn't want to live in a way that we don't want to live. I sometimes feel like we don't always have the, you know, it's easier said than done sometimes, right? Thanks. So welcome to the all four of you who are here. Don't be shy, and you can see the highlighted comment there. I might also do some music at some point in this, but right now I'm actually just about to have some lunch because I didn't eat anything much this morning. I mean, like I say, I do often just have a cookie, and I did, but anyway, so basically, and what I hear about that, you know, it can be really hard to take risks, to go out of comfort zones sometimes, right? And unfortunately, I sort of forget. I know that I have some stuff floating into my mind right now, some upcoming things. And I feel like that is somehow connected to me remembering that. And there was an additional thought that kind of went out of my head. And so I'm kind of thinking that maybe it was a thought that I didn't need to have, or that I need to have differently. And if I had to guess, I guess I'm just feeling a little bit lethargic. But maybe I'll heat up a bit more coffee. But if I had to guess, I would say that it has something to do with finding a way. So when I think of some things that are upcoming, two of them are somewhat close by to each other. They're not super far from where I'm at, from me now, but they're not super close either. Welcome in, all three of you. Don't be shy. Okay, all one of you. Looks like the other two left, so that might be inaccurate. But yeah, I'm just kind of, this isn't scripted, you know, I'm just kind of winging it. And I'm working on finding a way. And hopefully what I've done so far will amount to an easier journey and way to do it, you know. But if not, well, when the time gets closer, I'd rather wait until when it gets closer to the dates that I'm talking about. And if I still need to, then the option is they can, but it's good to give notice. Good to put it maybe ahead in the schedule. I wonder actually if I should. The one, but that's in the evening, so you want to go with that. That's in the morning. She'd be working, so that's already ruled out. And then the other thing, I'm waiting to find out. Hello again, Dylan. Welcome. as I've been, no, I won't ask for it. You kind of wandered off the other day. I didn't mean to put you on the spot. I thought it was a good idea. I thought it was a decent idea to, try out. You wanted to be a therapist. And here's the thing. I don't feel like you have to, or anybody has to necessarily. I mean, sure, I don't think that someone should be a surgeon that doesn't have a degree to do so. But I basically don't feel like, just because you haven't taken your course yet doesn't mean that you can't be helpful. Just think of all the times you've been there for friends, right? But anyway, it's fine. It's fine. I talked things out myself, and that helped. I feel like. I would like to point out, and I'm glad to have you back. By the way, I would like to point out the 2.5 lines in a highlighted comment that I put above, and ask you guys what you think of it. Ask you guys what comes to mind with that. In the meantime, yeah. So, and unfortunately, neither of the two things I'm thinking of are on Saturday. Then the other thing, I still need an additional piece of information before I can really. But yeah. So anyway, so let's talk about that because I think we got to do our best to try and reach our goals. I think you didn't hear me. There's a highlighted comment that I put it near the top that I haven't put anything else in the chat actually myself. It's about 2.5 lines long, and I would like it if you could look at that, any of the three of you, and offer your thoughts. And then I might do some music, and other than that, I don't know. But yeah. So yeah, and I'm also just about to have some lunch, and I'm honestly, yeah, I don't feel that. I really think, and so I hope you won't mind. Just look at it as, having a meal with someone that you know, except you may not know me very well, but we can get to know each other. Now, where's my fork? Here it is. So, yeah, I just started this stream not super long ago, and it would have been distracting me that I was hungry, so I figured I'll multitask, as sometimes one does, So, do you see the highlighted comment, Dylan? I don't mean, like, do you see the one that I put in there, written? Yes. Okay. So, what are your thoughts about it? Where would I rather have this? I think over here. But I will probably follow the comments on there because from where I'm sitting and where I got the phone, it's closer. I just heard something. I thought I just heard something light fall, but I don't know what it was. So anyway, I said a little bit of my thoughts on it, and with conversation, I may think of more. That's what I heard. That's another topic, but if nothing comes to mind, I mean, last night was a perfect example, right, Dylan? I mean, at first, something that I'd asked or whatever, you're like, and then I went away from the screen for like 3 or 4 minutes. You said, I've been thinking for 3 or 4 minutes. I couldn't think of anything. But then, not long after that, you kind of thought what your dream job would be, right? So it's maybe the same thing with that question. And if still nothing comes from that, like I've only been rolling about 30-ish minutes. I think Oliver's phone must have died because he's familiar with me. I think he would stay, but he also says he has really bad ADHD. I don't think the internet's made for it, and I think it creates it a lot of time. Of course, spaghetti is kind of not messy food, but nothing's really coming. Okay. Well, then how about this thought? Now, it's ironic to be saying this on here, and I agree with it. And it's a process. It's a process, or it's basically, somebody said on one of those talent shows, AGT or whatever, she said, what I love more than anything about shows like this is people are getting approval, love, happiness, opportunity, real connections with real people in real life, real time. And this is so fabulous because it's like getting likes on social media, but in reality, people are real, life is real. And though this is a social media, I mean, and this is real too. Um, you get experience, like people on the show, because they show um, genuine life changing connections where life is real and people are actually connecting. And I said, yeah, but sometimes it's the most accessible when we don't drive and we can't, you know, sometimes getting the opportunities is hard. So, mm-hmm. So, oh, but it definitely resonated, that's for sure. So, it wasn't too messy. But yeah, so if there's any thoughts on that, to the other three that are here, though, I do welcome you to see the highlighted comment. I think the third like just came in. Oh, but then it disappeared. Was that intentional? If so, could you please tell me why? If not, could you please put it back? And if there's anything that anybody else would rather talk about, I mean, I think I've got a couple great topics here, but uh-huh. I do. Okay. I want to heat this up just a little bit more. I don't. I thought I said that the other day. I'm glad that you had a second part to that question. Sorry that my topics weren't great, but I don't mind ascertaining other topics that are decent, and it's a fair enough question to get to know somebody. I mean, I used to play sports a bit more, but not really anything lately. No, that's right. I remember you were into athletics. So you're into athletics and video games, which is kind of interesting. I didn't really think about that the other day there. That being said, of course, there is things like weed, which is, a bit more active, right? But I mean, I used to like saying, I'm not this old, but I also used to like Atari arcade games. But what do I do for fun? Is music, or at least usually I have fun with it. Live streaming, cooking, kind of. I mean, we have to cook, but I'm not always that fancy. Most of the time, I'm not actually. Got a book the other day. I feel mixed about some of the things that it speaks about because it's not just recipes. It's like about like healthiness. It's like I don't know. It's just like I don't know. Certain health ideologies, some of which I maybe don't agree with as much as others. Did I leave my fork out there? My goodness gracious. I thought I put a lot of cheese, but anyway. Ooh, that is hot. I mean, I do kind of want to stick. Well, I kind of want to stick to the topics that I already have in this. But if nobody is wanting to chat on that, I'll keep trying other topics until something something resonates or whatever. Because I don't read books a lot. Dylan, have you liked the video yet? By the way, like with the thumbs up. I don't read books a lot, but I am working my way through one at the moment. I'm also looking for some new things to get involved in. Acting a little bit. Yeah. I'm looking. Just a moment, please. I don't think so. It's a school day. No, no, they're coming up here. Sorry. Yep. I'll be back under 5 minutes on the street. Like 2 or 3. Just spaghetti. And I made some onion rings last night too. Yeah, I'd like to know the same. It doesn't seem like it. He's someone who's only met me last night. And the other person was I don't want to say he's shy, and maybe he is still here, but maybe he is shy. But the other person that I met last night, who actually specifically asked when I'm rolling next, and we kind of worked out when he might be able to catch me live because he'd like to chat. That was nice. I was able to help him a bit, do some music, connect, all the great things. But I don't want to get up again, but I think my feet are a little bit cold even in socks, and I think my slippers must be out there. But I'm trying to ignore it now. So, Oliver, I don't mean to talk about deep topics, and if you haven't liked, please do. But have you really not? I want to kind of go back to the topic here. There's also the one of which goals are you struggling to reach? But the one I came up with today is, kind of based on honoring loved ones who have passed away. Do you really not have any? I know it's not only something I've been through, but I mean, I've certainly been through it often too, so. I'm referencing to the person that just got here the highlighted comment. It should show at the top or the bottom on most devices, so I probably don't need to keep mentioning it if I'm not saying, well, but at the same time, when someone just tuned in, I feel like I should be saying something. So Oliver, keep me saying stuff. Keep the conversation moving. Help me out here, eh? I know you're trying. We'll make this engaging. We'll make this work for your ADHD. I think I must have turned off the radio. I just sat down, but I want it in the background, so I'm going to put it on, especially for the quieter moments and for song ideas and possibly topic ideas. Ugh. Oliver, you're the only one here right now, so no pressure, but it's on you. Okay, I do want to get I know, I feel old to say I wear slippers. I do, But with my anemia, sometimes I get cold easy. So even wearing socks. I could just call them slip-ons too. Okay, now I'm not getting up for a while now. So, so yeah, and of course it's a talking station. Wouldn't you I just want music. Sorry, this is not a non-monetized video. I didn't select it to be monetized. And I understand that some stations play more music than others, but stations are going to talk. But I mean, and if this one does, I'm not getting up again to change it. But now I'm wondering though, did I plug the other phone in? Because if not, I won't be able to call G. But remind me next time I get up, try and catch me as I'm doing something. Wait, plug in the other phone because I've got some time before his lunch break, and we do at least one daily call. So I want to do that. I know it didn't have a super strong charge, but then I used it, and then I think I came down and put it on the counter because I don't see it out here. So anyway, this also could be a similar question, not just to about people that have passed away, but it could be a similar question about just people in that we've had in life and have had in our lives in general that left us with a legacy or something that we still appreciate to this day. So that's what I'm asking. What are those things for you? And I don't know. I mean, his phone may have died. Something may have come up. Like I say, yes, legit. But I kind of feel like that other person. Oh, he said he came back into the conversation today after meeting me the previous day. So I don't know. I mean, I just kind of feel like left abruptly and may have unliked and not a big fan of either. Oh, you eat a lot of noodles too, eh? Like I and Dave, yeah. Well, so I guess you'd be. Oh, you are still here. Okay. Yeah, no, I was just trying to figure out what happened, and at the moment, well, now it says there's two again. You were doing something. Okay, well, I'm glad that you're here. I feel like I might have to reference this for further chat ideas. I mean, I'm not sure where you're watching from, Dylan. I'm kind of curious, actually. And nope, you are wrong, Elias. And also, that's not the kind of thing you just jump into a conversation with. And Oliver, in case you're thinking, wait, I thought he was. Remember yourself. Remember yourself, and we're similar. And don't deny yourself what you like. Anyway, yeah, I think he's close to our age, but I'm a little bit curious. I do feel like he's over 18. Age is just a number, but okay. What was the other thing I was going to say? What part of the world do you live in? You're not older than 18? See, this is where I feel mixed because it's such a common occurrence, that people under 18 are using, okay, well then your picture, you look older in your little picture, the small version I can see. Well, yeah, he looked like he was in his 20s somewhere, maybe 30s by the little picture there. But no, I mean, and I know that I'm not like the I mean, yeah, I sometimes don't have a filter, but I'm not the wildest one on this platform or the internet in general, really. So, I mean, and I know that I have a lot of, aside from doing music, I have lot of powerful things to say that don't really necessarily know an age. But at the same time, it is a little bit, and I don't know if I would say uncomfortable or not. But the biggest thing is for some people that judge too quickly and don't know me or G well enough. They're going to assume that we're ascertaining. I mean, but do we not do it with do people not associate with youth that are like friends of the family or family? I mean, no, I did. Actually, I did. Uh, and I don't want, we don't need for that to come into the conversation. I know you were just letting me know, so I'm just going to take that out. But yeah, so basically, so some people might take it at face value, uh, and well, there's more than just Canada and the U.S. I mean, Oliver, come on, you know that. Oh, you are in Canada. Well, so am I actually. What part of Canada? But yeah, basically, some people may misjudge it. May misjudge me in my intent, and that's and I don't want to have That's why I need to remember to put 80 plus on all of them because I don't want to have to keep re-explaining it. I'm near Edmonton, yeah, but yeah, so yeah, unfortunately, some people are going to have certain opinions because of some of the crazy things that some people do or go, in the world. A little bit closer to there, in between the two places, actually. So that's kind of interesting. Um, but yeah, however, as cool as that is, that we have something kind of like that in common. Yeah, it. Um, but and then also there's also the other thing that you make me think of. So I do appreciate you being here, Dylan, and coming back a couple of times. But I think there's one person who I've known for a while that actually maybe two that I've known for a while, which would be the exception. Uh, um, and if they saw this 50 minutes in, they'd know that. Nothing against you personally, but since you're under 18, I think I am going to have to ask you to, there are lots of good live streamers out there. That's the thing. I'd actually recommend, yeah, I know, and you didn't really want to, and it kind of came out anyway. I would actually recommend just not saying your age. It's just, less awkward. And I mean, and some people might say, well, it's all they can make it awkward. No, because I know that other people will, that's, or could, so I'd like to send you, Dylan, on your way because you are uh, uh, in that category. But I'll quote the song on the radio right now. I don't know if you can hear it. I hope that you find what you're looking for. I wish you success in your life. And Oliver, we don't need to ask him a question since I'm saying what I'm saying. And again, it's nothing personal. Come back in a few years, when if you like, or maybe you'll find yourself here. But yeah, I wish you the best, as I do, any viewer. Oh, I suppose, if you don't know somebody, you don't know what kind of person they are. But from one good person to hopefully another, and let's carry on with the highlighted comment. If we could please get back to that, the only one that I myself have put into the conversation in writing. If we could look at that, that'd be great. And if you could let me know, it's very interesting with Dave how he says 16 plus because I'm surprised he doesn't say 18, to be honest. But anyway, people don't make sense sometimes, I think that we should all want to, though. I think that we should all try to. Some people, they don't seem to even try to. That might be saying it right there. I don't know how I can say it better. So I guess maybe you're meant to be here then, and all we can say is that I tried. You know, if you're resonating with this, then like I said, I tried. If you don't understand, then no, and I'd be more inclined to put 18. To be honest, this is the thing though. This is where it doesn't make sense. You know, because like I'm not, flirting or anything, and uh, we can't censor our whether it's our kids or anybody else's kids, we can't censor from the world. We can try, but it's the world is just too. There's so many people doing lots of things, whether it's online or in person, and youth will uh, youth will pick up on it. They do. And I have a feeling there are a lot of naive parents that don't realize what the youth know and do. And even sometimes decent parents, might, things might still kind of occur. So I think the best thing we can really truly do is use things as like for learning, for educating, really. And I think as people, as a human race, we can a lot of people can just do better at being people and not doing bad things. And then it makes everybody else's life easier, and it makes everybody else it makes people not jump to certain conclusions. It's really better when people, yeah, decide for themselves. And also, we can't always trust our gut initially. It really pisses me off that person that I saw on that post, um, that I saw those other things once I was like this close to contacting him, because, but that person can see that, although I don't see the reaction now. Oh, no, I do, yeah. That person can see that somebody wasn't happy with their comment. And honestly, I don't even know why I'm ascertaining this one. If he doesn't know how to ask for specific clarification when he's confused, I can't help him, and I can't make this individual try and be more specific. Um, if people under the age, remove them. Yeah, I might have to. Yeah. Um, just reading something. Um, yeah, yeah. The difficult thing is some people don't tell you for the longest time because they don't think anything of it, and you form a connection. But yeah, when we know, it's hopefully early on. That's and that just speaks to the head I have on my shoulders. It also speaks to the unfortunate things that happen in society. But I mean, yeah, I mean, a good example of that is that one who listens to a certain type of, I mean, both of them, although the one was definitely older than the other one, um, certain type of rap music. Like a 4 or 5 year old shouldn't be listening to that. I understand maybe the parents do, but and I'm not saying all rap music is bad either. But anyway, yeah. I don't know. That comment really surprises me that I saw something. Everything's good for now. Right now, you say. Right. Anyway, I do have to run upstairs in under 5 minutes because of my OBA. But no, I mean, things could be a little bit better. We could actually be talking on the topic that I put in the highlighted comments. We could be suggesting songs. Uh, you know, I don't want to leave because I know you have ADHD, but I know you also appreciate me, so I know. We could also have a few more chatters. We had a few people there listening to us as we were talking about that. And hopefully they realize that I'm trying to uh, abide by standards, I guess I would say. But yeah. Anyway, yeah, I'd really rather be talking about the topic at hand, but the main one. I'd really rather be talking about music. Um, um, Slowly but surely, I think I'm figuring out some of the things I have coming up in my schedule. So um, it's really unfortunate that um, in a group post, like because it's a group, I can't delete certain comments that I feel are not helpful or whatever. Or can I? I don't think I can. I think that it was best to be short and sweet with that one. For now, who? I mean, I always cook dinner unless we order out. But who told you anything about that name? Out of curiosity. Or you know what? Maybe I don't want to know. Maybe I mentioned it that's fine. Yeah, don't worry about that question. But and okay, can you hear the radio? I'd still like to know about that. But at the moment, it's just commercials, and I'd rather ask you when it's music because I'd be curious about a song, perhaps. So maybe wait on that one too. I don't know why the radio is so much more chatty than music at the moment, but yeah. And I don't know what I'm having. I kind of had for lunch what I'd probably have for dinner. We really struggle with meals sometimes and meal variety, unfortunately. Um, I mean, I really don't feel like frozen pizza. I might have the thing I usually have for brunch for dinner. I didn't feel like it yet, but I might then. I might have to because I don't have a lot of other things to choose from. Um, but yeah, so I feel a bit redundant, but there's always new people tuning in, and so far it hasn't went really very far, and I think it's a great question, so I'll ask again. Oh, and by the way, while I'm thinking of it, I think he did leave, and I really feel bad because he was not being a troll. He was contributing to the community just fine. But yes, we want to try and keep this, you know, it's still a very wide range of people, but yeah, that's something that like I'm not old, but I'm also not young. That's something that didn't used to be the case in my back in my day. Um, Kids weren't. I mean, I know a lot of people say back in the day, kids were safe playing outside and they didn't spend time on so much devices. And I feel like I'm getting old because I'm starting to agree with that. You know, really it should be a welcoming place for anybody, just like at a music venue or a theater thing or whatever. But for everybody's comfortability, and just in case, because I am an adult, just in case things do get a little um, adult sounding, from time to time, it really is best. I mean, not that they're not around adults who won't find these things other ways, but I'm doing my best to try and make it that it's not because of me. I didn't see the comment where he said uh, well, he didn't exactly. I said, as long as you're over 18, and he said, I'm not. And he said, not even close. So, yeah. So I sent him on his way. Had to put a bit of effort into doing, had to, he didn't want to, but yeah. Anyway, but anyway, so um, this is very interesting though, because it does happen fairly often, that age category. I often think like I'm meant to inspire future generations. I'm meant to, uh, and I'm not really around a lot of kids. I mean, I don't have any. I have a very small, not very local, not very living family. Um, and these days, it's mostly acquaintances and not a lot of, certainly not friends with kids, I mean, it just isn't. So I'm not really around them. Um, and some kids are very mature. But anyway, so yeah, it's kind of like, yeah. But the other thing is that speaking about loved ones that have passed away and legacies, like I think of my dad, for instance, and I think that he would think that I would be a good parent or role model. In fact, not think, knows it. And I mostly agree. Um, but I mean, the likelihood of it happening aren't, I mean, this is a good opportunity, I guess, well, I don't know. Um, I just want to remind, if it's not uh, doing anything negative to somebody, then I think we should be ourselves. That's the thing. That and I've had a few people even recently tell me, be yourself, you're great, or whatever. In fact, look who it is. Hello, Max, welcome back. I know I'm a bit earlier, and so are you, but that's fine. So anyway, basically, and it's very interesting. I was just talking about my dad, and I know very briefly yours came up the other day, and I believe you said that you're in college university last night, so that's cool. Um, Actually, no, you told me that you're 19. That's right. So okay, yeah, because we just had a bit of a yeah. Anyway, um, an under 18 person that I had to send on their way. Um, but yeah, basically, so I mean, we've got 5 of you here, but I think I will be honest, because I'm not going to be the first one that people meet. Uh, I might be, but I'm not going to be the last one. And also, I know my reality. I know the reality of other similar people. And I think that a lot of people are honest about this particular aspect of themselves because it's just not represented enough. Even though more than it used to be, it's just not represented enough. And people worry about being seen a certain way regardless. But it's how you honestly and genuinely deliver it too. And I hope this doesn't change things between our new connection with you, you and I, Max. And I think it was you that liked, was it? I know that we had a really nice chat the other day, and and I kind of feel like I was helpful. If I'm talented, and I know you do as well. So I don't think that you're going to judge me for this, but I do want to speak up for not just I'm not going to say the gay community, I'm going to say the LGBT community, because each of those are valid and represent actual other people as well. I am the third letter. And so why I bring this up, um, oh, I don't know. I don't know. I'm winging it. It's during the day. G's not home for hours. Which reminds me, did I plug in that other phone? Yeah. The reason that I bring it up is because, um, is because, um, you know, talking about I ever be a father. Well, not likely anytime soon, but maybe in my 50s, when I'm, you know, when it's, well, being very honest, when it's, oh, wow. And what time is it there now? And I'm glad that you still want to stay. I'm glad that you accepted what I just mentioned. When it's, when a particular someone may pass away, then I'm not going to jump right to trying to date a woman, but I'm totally open to it. 4:35. Okay, so not super long. So okay, I'll try a little bit louder then because I was going to run upstairs for under 5 minutes, but that's not very far from now. Yeah, you're both in the UK actually, you and Oliver, and we lost the other three people, but whatever. Anyway, or at least it looks like we did. Anyway, point of the matter being is that now it's a phone, but I don't think that's accurate because. Anyway, point of the matter being is, yeah, the topic of fatherhood, the topic of, which comes with being a mentor, I would say, to youth, I would say is something that, even though I didn't have my dad in my life a lot, it wasn't that he was a bad dad, and I also, I was young and he was young when he passed away. So I mean, but I do feel like just naturally, and also maybe individual and people that I've met in my life, um, that that it is something that I'm just naturally a pretty good people person, really. But yeah, so basically, it's interesting to think about that. Like I've often kind of wanted to be a dad, but I can't afford it. I can barely afford, making it myself, these days. And then also, that's when it's handy to drive. I do not, because, they're going to have to get to things, you know what I mean? Um, so yeah, but no, I've had girlfriends in the past, and it was fine while I had them. The fact that I don't have one now, hello, Jackie Garner, related to Jennifer, and ironic because one of them was a Jennifer. Um, and I've had a Jackie in my mind a few times lately, but you know, um, I've um, I've had. So what do you have going on this evening? I know that you said that you're going to come back in the evening, so you just need a little bit of time in between, I guess, Max. But um, yeah, so basically, I would do that again. It's just at this point in my life, I don't think it's something that I should look at. But yeah, it doesn't mean that I'm not that's not a part of who I am. Just because that's not the you know the my not really where I'm at with my life right now. You know what I mean? And I think that that's a big misconception that so many people have. Oh, if they're with a woman, I guess they're straight. Oh, if they're with a guy, I guess they're gay. No, Jackie, you took away your comment. How come? I don't see. Maybe you're judging me too quick. I mean, I feel like I'm a pretty good person. Uh, Max said just the other day, that, or I think it was Max said that I'm a great confidant. And yeah, I don't see my dad anymore. He left home when I was young. That's what I just asked. We'll see if she answers. And never saw him again. Not sure if he's still alive or dead. Okay. Okay. Glad it was a oops. Um, so yeah, this channel is about uplifting, motivating psychology, and behavior. And then also I do music. So if any song requests come to mind, let me know. Max, I'm thinking you're still here because it's within the time that you said you could stay. I hope that if you haven't, if the people, I think Max and Oliver have liked uh, Jackie, if you haven't, please feel free to, and also feel free to say where you're watching from. And yeah, Jennifer Garner, she's a famous person, isn't she? I think there's another famous Garner as well. Anyway, hopefully this garners all the right attention. Anyway, but yeah, so basically, now talking about dads. Okay, Max, you did share with me the other day that your dad has passed away. Oh, I'm also in Canada. What part of Canada are you in? Um, you did share that with me, Max. And my condolences, by the way. I don't remember how recent. I don't know how recently it was, but and then Oliver doesn't know. Really, I'm not far from there. I'm not far from there at all, actually. So that's ironic. Um, Let me just look at something for a moment here. Uh, but yeah, basically, and do you believe in the afterlife? Um, I think Max said the other day that you did, but I remember there being a yes, and I don't know if that was what the yes was too. Um, and Oliver, have you tried to uh, find and connect with your dad? I mean, honestly, sometimes I think that a parent is making. Yes, I said I do. I think that sometimes a parent is making what they feel is the best choice, because um, they maybe don't feel equipped. You know, they don't always think smart initially. They don't always be careful, and then they have kids, right? Um, either gender, the parent, and then they realize, oh, I really, Jackie, you've taken a bunch of your comments away. How come? Um, I'm not trying to offend anybody. I mean, if we're being honest with ourselves, if this, I mean, I don't know if it resonates or not, but if if this resonates, whether as the parent or otherwise, then I mean, it's just the truth. It's just the way that things happen sometimes. It doesn't mean that we can't make it better. So, like Oliver, your dad may actually be ready to be a father now, and maybe it would actually go very well if you tried to reach out. Have you? Max, if you'd be open to it, I could try and channel a message from your father. If you have any particular questions about life, I'll put it that way. Um, yeah, I'm not too sure what's up with that, to be honest. The first or second time it was unintentional. It's possible that she just didn't want people to know where she lives, but she did say 2 different places. But I know the one that she was referring to. But I understand that on the internet. I totally understand that. Maybe she's uncertain. Maybe I like I said, maybe I said something that resonated, either as oh, not a I could have been a better parent, or maybe as I could have had better parents. It's okay to be honest about that, and work through that a bit, you know. But Max, I had asked you a question. What is some stuff about life that you would ask your dad? Of course. And Jackie, if you're still here, I'm sorry, I'm getting mixed feelings about you, so I'm gonna hide you from the content. But the ironic thing is that I think you already know the answer to that one. I think you can go a little bit deeper than that. Why would you ask? Is it important to like people? Of course it is. I'm not trying to sound judgy to your question, but I think that the answer is obvious. But yeah, I actually am from a place very close to where that lady mentioned. One of the 2 places. I won't say which one. Um, is it important to like people like family? That could be read two different ways. It could be read as actual family or people that you want to like or treat as if they were family. And unfortunately, some people don't treat their families very well, but some families are toxic, and it's just best to kind of not associate with them. Is there a certain somebody that you have in mind, or are you thinking of me like family, or somebody else that you're thinking of in mind? I'm just curious. Your brother, me, or your actual brother? um, you're struggling to like your sibling. Is that what you're saying? I relate to that as well. Oh, okay. Well, why wouldn't you like him? I mean, because he has a brain disease. Uh, it's not important. Oliver, why would you say that? I'm confused. Uh, I'm sorry to hear about your brother, though. I mean, if you're saying that it's challenging to have a relationship with him because of, well, as I shared earlier, I have that struggle for different reasons. but, um, and not, not fully deviants either. But, okay, yeah, like he's a bit of a handful at times, right? Is what you're saying. But I mean, at the moment, it's me that's saying that all you can do is do your best and be understanding of the fact that he doesn't know necessarily how to do different. I can usually tell when I'm telling and when it's from me, and that was from me. But um, yeah, so did you say that you're also in Canada? No, you're in the UK. But it's kind of interesting. I just wanted to put a face to a name. That's all. That's all. And we're getting along very nicely. Um, so when I looked up your name, I actually found one in Calgary with the same name. And then if it Max is a middle name, then yeah. I'm not talking about Max. Comment. Don't get it. It's not. Then I don't know what you're referring to, Oliver. Um, but yeah. So yeah. Uh, so if you have any other questions, or I've been needing to run up this under 5 minutes, and I could uh, very quickly, um, see if I do sense anything from your your father. I usually like to let it be more organic than that, but like not trying to like. But sometimes I can kind of get it to happen that way. I'm just looking because I got an update about a rehearsal for something, and I just wanted to see that. That way I know whether to keep it in my mind or not. But yeah, Oliver, your latter comment there is confusing me a bit. But But if you can maybe kind of define, like, does he swear at you, or what do you mean by that? Thanks for the hearts. Feel like it might be someone who's got here, otherwise the other two would be hearting long before. Now it said 3, now it says 4. I'm going to try and... I have to briefly check something, and my computer's being a bit slow, so I think I'm going to do it on my phone. I'll be back in under 5 minutes, and although it's toggling pretty okay. What kind of slurs? Hello again, Deepak. What type of slurs? I'll be right back. I'm going to keep this open just in case, although I've had to reload it for the chat. Okay, I'll be right back. Okay, we're back. I could almost see with that type of condition saying the B word. A lot of people that don't have that, but the other one's a bit of a surprise. So it's actually much nicer out than it was supposed to be. It's supposed to be cloudy and snowy, and I feel like I should be outside, but I don't have anything to be outside for, to do. You know, I don't have the money, or... This is really weird. Okay, it just hasn't loaded yet completely. But yeah, so basically, oof, what? What does oof mean other than... Oh, it's interesting because that worked with horses, so that... Say who. Anyway, okay, well, I'll let you know if I do send anything from Dad then. He might just be happy that we're talking, and... Oh, okay. Oh, really? At this time of day? Well, I guess it's evening there, but it is a Tuesday. But I want to thank you for... I know that, you're just really needing someone to talk to, and you mentioned that, but I do want to thank you for, accepting the things that I've mentioned to you, or the things that I mentioned here, including to you. And I don't know. I don't... Like, for instance, I have a movie that I'm in the process of watching that actually is about... It's actually kind of ironic because it's a program that we had in my school, that I didn't... I mean, I don't know if it's a Canadian program or what, but and basically it's this individual... I think he has community service, and ends up being matched with somebody with a disability, where they have a different type of communication and cognition, basically. And I haven't watched all of it yet, but initially he wasn't really keen on it. And then it was interesting because he stood up. It was very mild bullying. I mean, some people would say, well, any bullying isn't good. But no, I mean, it didn't ruffle my feathers. It didn't make me feel anything in particular. It was done in a very gentle way, perhaps because of some of the cast and that. But then, unfortunately, they go through that. So it's not like you're sheltering them from it. But anyway, basically, like... And I'm watching it out of curiosity, and I thought it was actually kind of nice how he stood up. It stood in between them and said, "Hey, that's my friend," or whatever. But he didn't feel like he had that connection yet, so he said, "No, you're not," or whatever, and made the other one feel bad because he just stood up for him, and basically, and truly felt that they were. But then they start to become such. So I'm going to get back to that in a moment. But like, I don't know. I don't mean to be mean at all. I do not. I don't. I'm not that kind of person. I really am not. And by the way, if anybody else is putting chats since Max is having to leave, I welcome people to. I don't know anything about that. I welcome people to, or if somebody could let me know if it's not obviously trolly or weird, just someone trying to be part of the conversation. Because right now I can only load them on the cell phone. It's not showing up on the computer, and like I'm not too sure why. I'm going to actually try it a different way because um, it looks like it's fully loaded, the page, but the chat isn't there. But it is on the cell phone. Anyway, but I honestly wonder if some people do have, these kind of things can happen, whether at birth or in life. I honestly do wonder if some people do have some sort of brain injury. You know, I mean, and like sometimes I feel like I'm communicating with an adult that's like communicating like a 2-year-old. And if we were to say 5 or 6, some of them communicate better. I mean, do people not know what, for instance, "don't be vague" means? Do people not like they read they read what they want to read or how they want to read, or they read between lines or whatever, or like this thing that I wanted to rehearse for. I mean, I'll say this with the possibility, although we're this far in, but there is a second person here now, and I kind of feel like I have empathy. I do, but I kind of feel like I'm not too sure if I want this opportunity, the one opportunity that I was looking at getting, because, so okay, he answered the question about location without much difficulty. I thought you were cooking them a while ago. Anyway, he answered the question, the first question, without difficulty. I said I almost have a guess. I said it this clearly. I may have said a few other things just beforehand, and then this was near the middle to end of it. But I said, poor. I said, it's funny the word cuppa because of someone on my mind, kind of about this. I said, I'm not asking specific location. I have a guess because it's a short street. But I says, what day and time will it be happening? And he told me the exact location they'd be happening, which actually probably wasn't very smart of him, because what if I just, well, I mean, they could send me away. I'm not going to just show up if I haven't gotten the part. But I mean, we'd already, like, I couldn't have said it clearer. I mean, seriously, let me bring it up for a moment. And it's really unfortunate because I saw that post 2 or 3 times. It was made twice. And the first time I thought, yeah. And then the second time I thought, okay, maybe. And then I inquire further to find out, maybe not. Because he couldn't answer a simple question. You're like, what kind of person is he going to be to work with, And also, well, I guess that is morning still, which is weird. That came in a while ago, and I'm just seeing it now. Yeah, this is exactly what I said. Just a moment here. It's really, honestly, I almost don't feel like I need to read it because it looked longer on my other device, on my cell phone, than it does in here. Here it's about a line and a half, then a space, and 3.5 lines. And it shouldn't be difficult to understand. I was saying how it's ironic. Okay. Oh, actually, no, that's not all of it. So maybe that's why. Maybe he didn't see all of it. Oh, no, okay. And then besides what I just said, there's about 3, 4, 5 more lines, 2 half lines. And yeah, I said, I'm just wondering if you could tell us, I have a guess, if it's not a house, where the rehearsals may be. Okay, so I understand that maybe he did think I was asking more specifically. Okay, fine enough. I said, I said that the street name, as far as the location, is good enough answer till I ace the audition. It's not that long a street. I did say LOL. Maybe he thought I was joking. Okay, fine. I just wanted to make sure it feels accessible before I do the steps of sending the virtual audition via the option. Hopefully, and I asked, can we do a video call? That wasn't answered. I'm wondering also what day and time our rehearsal is going to be held. and it's not necessarily for a musical. There might be music in it, which actually, yeah, they said the post said that there might be a need for a little bit of someone who can play guitar, but it's not necessary. Like, as in you can pretend to play, it might be okay. But I actually can. So if anybody's got song requests, although I think it's just you here, Oliver, right now. But yeah, now there's somebody else. So any song requests, there's the highlighted comment, there's chat. But yeah, and then yeah, I don't really, yeah. He didn't answer that question. Like, and I said, I think I said something at the beginning here. If I can arrange for someone to bring us, which means that we have to let them know when and where. Maybe it is entirely possible that he didn't want to give that information yet or doesn't know it. But then I think it would have made sense to say, you'll have plenty of notice once we select you to figure that part out. We'll let you know if we select you, or I don't know yet. Like, I can't read his mind. Maybe he thought that. Maybe he completely missed it, in which case I don't know how. Anyway, enough on that. But yeah, I honestly think some people are, and again, I'm not trying to be mean, but like I really feel like some people are operating with less brain cells. So, and as Max was saying, that can be frustrating, especially if you're interacting with the person often, Anyway, we've got 3 people here. If you'd like to say anything on the highlighted comment, if you'd like to ask about any songs you'd like me to cover, perhaps songs that have been special to a loved one or pertinent to your life these days that you're listening to a lot or that you've always liked, feel free. It can be. I used to. Yeah. Anyway, I feel like I've come across very well in a lot of things I said, and perhaps better than I sometimes do in writing. So, but like I look at the things that I've written, and I don't understand what I said. But anyway, it's fine. And it's a big world. So lots of us will unfortunately have to deal with that. And what's really annoying about the one thing I'm thinking about is I numbered the things. Apparently, and there's 3 viewers and there's 3 likes, and the one person who responded to the post seemed to focus on the 3rd number for some reason, because it wasn't the first. It was kind of worded in an interesting way, I will admit that. But anyway. So yeah, highlighted comment, song request. Oh, Destin, thank God. Well, now I have to keep rolling. And it's been everybody from the UK, except for a couple people very near to where I live. Not quite where, but very near. Which has been kind of interesting, although one of them was giving mixed signals and one of them was under 18. So I had to send them on their way. So, but it'd be cool to build a strong connection with somebody from there and then eventually meet them in person. That could be interesting. But or if it had actually, like, that was an actual name, I believe. If it had been a name I was familiar with, all I remember is that it was a Jackie. But the day is going slow. It's only noon. I'm happy to be doing this stream. I might have to go a little quiet and look at this for next ideas of topics. Although I do have the highlighted comment, and I feel if I mention it, you might actually look at it. I almost emailed you, both of you could say today, but my email was being wonky, to let you know that I was rolling, but you found your way here anyway. So yeah, I'm trying to make some things happen in the next week and a half, and it's just a little bit of a challenge. And the other thing I have to wait 3 days for, I know that's not a lot, but life is fragile, and I've already been wanting to do this for a while. I mean, I am thankful that part of the process has been done, but anyway, I just need to slow down for a moment. Maybe put my coffee in the fridge, grab a water. I'll let you see the highlighted comment, okay? And of course, any song request. And it's daytime. I'm home alone. Yesterday, G was homesick. Today, he's not. And remember, Oliver, we go by leading, healing, or initials on here. I don't have to know. Please respect that. Thank you. And does anybody hear the radio? That's the other question. I'll be back with you in just a moment here. Let you catch up. I know some people will tune in and say it's just a guy reading. Oh, it's way more than that. I'm just taking a bit of a rest because it's almost been 2 hours. Okay, and the third person left. Yeah, there's 2 of you here, and I know you understand. So, and if anybody asks, you can tell them that. I appreciate it. I just need 5 minutes, maybe 10. Let's go with 7. Yeah, ironic that the name Max is in this, actually. Did I know that? I'm 60 pages in. Did I know that? I've been kind of skimming it. I think that's her other kid. Yeah, okay. I was going to take that away just in case somebody misinterprets it, but I'm pretty sure you're joking. And yeah, I'm mildly HC. Mildly. By the way, though, I that reminds me, if I could ask you not to short form it like that, or not to say it in general, I'll know that you're probably thinking it in your head, because I saw a post recently that mentioned it, and it sounded like the person was not happy with some group that is called that. And one person said, you might actually have to translate or tell us who that is. And one or two people liked it. And it was a non-English post that I kept having to quick translate. And I don't even remember who posted it now. It was somebody, Gino. Whoops. And so it might mean something that we don't know it means. So, yes, some people who is someone who predicted something what you were saying, and that was mentioned in this book. It wasn't late so much I wouldn't need it. Anyway, and then makes me do it. Sorry. So yeah, to the third person, highlighted comment, song request. I'll be back with you in a few minutes. I'm just looking. I'm wanting to make my way through this book, and I'm halfway through because it's not a very big book, and I'm not much of a book reader. But and there's also possibly some things in here which we could talk about. So that's what I'm looking for. Take me home tonight. Haven't heard that in ages. I had a new spot on my chest that I have these sometimes, but it was a bit more there than noticeable than usual, and I'm not too sure what to think about it. I'm not sure. Yeah. Guardian Angel, it's a sign to look at the highlighted comments and talk about it with us. The only one I put in there, which reminds me, I know I want to be watching that post, but for right now I need to be watching this in case there's any comments that I don't see. Have I messed up your timing system there, Dustin? Sorry. This is very interesting. I'm not too sure. I'm going to say at least 10 or 15 years. This particular person that wrote this was asked to speak at an event. She had remarried and had children with the person she remarried to. they were asked to speak about uh, life, what you do, why you do what you do, and about her new book. She had not told her children that she was married before, that their mother's first husband took his life. And she told them the night before the event. And she did it right as she was putting them to bed. That's a little bit. But again, that kind of thing will stick with you whether you're about to go to bed or not. Sorry, okay. Do you guys not see the highlighted comment? I think Dylan said he did. The only one that I myself have put in there at the either very top or very bottom. I would really love to talk about it. Maybe do some music. But it's not their actual dad. That would have been even more ironic, awkward. And of course, Dustin and Oliver never be away too long, in between videos because I post fairly regularly, and I'd worry about you if you were. I don't know whether I'd worry about Max if he didn't come back tonight. It sounds like he enjoyed the conversation, enjoyed being here, stayed after I opened up about some stuff, and he was initially going to come later this evening and chat. So he was a bit early. But if he's still free, hopefully he does. If he doesn't, should I worry? That's what I don't know. I appreciate that. Care to share any of the thoughts? I'd be curious to hear. I mean, I can guess, but I'd rather hear it right from you. Other than that, song request, highlighted comment. The only one I put there, please. Please, I beg of you. I don't mean to actually seem like I'm begging, but I thought it was a good question. A good question that I initially brought into this. I like to do music, I think you've heard me do music. See, I don't do it often enough to know for sure. I know you've heard G. I don't know exactly why, because it's not their actual dad, why she felt like they needed to know. But, well, yeah, same thing. But I go back to Oliver. I'd asked you a question about your dad. You didn't answer. I'm not going to judge you either way. Although I also have told you not to say certain names. And that may be inaccurate anyway. We don't eat out a lot. Can't afford it. And we don't drive, so it's hard for us to get to a lot of places. So, but anyway, yeah, if it was her kid's actual dad, they would eventually, and she was a single parent, because most people have, two parents, one way or another. I would think that I guess maybe I don't know. Maybe you don't have an answer yet. Maybe that's why you're not answering, because you're not sure, and you haven't looked. But we'll see what this might inspire, I guess, then, because yeah, basically, they'd eventually want to know, but they have their biological dad, so I'm confused. It's also typed in very short, like 2-line sections. Dad in your current time. I understand that, but I also don't think that there should be shame in talking about it. I don't feel like it's necessarily a negative thing. Like, another way to mention it would be to say, I think it carries on their legacy. It truly carries on their legacy to talk about loved ones. And not only do I feel like the loved ones would appreciate that, yeah, I wondered if you might say that. I, like I mean, what it sometimes does is it brings up difficult feelings, but it's okay to acknowledge that and still mention it. You know, it's something I do from time to time on here. I mean, I was at a workshop once, and there was a series of four, and then there was a couple of individual ones, and I did, I think, the third or fourth one in that, and one of the ones who'd been in the other four was there, and basically, but I did say that thing I said earlier, Oliver, about he might feel different about things now, and it might be worth you looking as well. I've actually written a play about this. Speaking of that kind of thing, um, but anyway, and I think G was yeah. It's unfortunate that it wasn't very detailed with his response, but you should still try. I might need more talking into than that about it. But yeah, basically, well, I understand, and I do want to respect that. But anyway, what I was going to say is that the one individual who lost her brother to an overdose had said that I actually feel like I'm starting to get to know some of your people, and she said it in a way where she was happy to. I mean, not that they had passed away. We could the other way that I had formed the question actually was to look at it as like um, they don't have to have passed away. Just someone that we either still have in our life or we've known in our life that has left us with something that we still carry with us to this day, essentially. Um, because yeah, I heard something about somebody saying she did say, "Well, they're still alive to hear it," but I think they can anyway. But she had said that why does a eulogy only have to be for those that have passed away? And I think it's a decent enough question, to be honest. And I don't think it has to. So, and I find it kind of special to talk about them. So, personally. So again, I'm not forcing it, but if that made you a bit more willing to, then I'm here to listen. I'm just quickly going to look at something here. Um, yeah, okay. I mean, I'm not sure if I just heard what the radio just said accurately or not, but I thought they said something about diabetes. It's ironic. I was just looking at a book, that cooking book, and at the beginning of each section, it has basically either a review or whatever you want to call it. And one of the people said that they were struggling with diabetes and blah, blah, blah. And then they followed, these health tips that this person had said, not specific to diabetes. And they felt so much better, blah, blah, blah. Like, it's like, for instance, energy drinks. I've always known that they're not healthy. But um, when you lose someone important to you to diabetes, for instance, even if they didn't drink energy drinks, you're reminded of how those kind of things can be really toxic to the body. I mean, I know diabetes is somewhat is genetic as well, but so since my one friend had passed away, quite honestly, I feel like I've become a little bit of a crusader for diabetes prevention. As best as I can. Which maybe isn't as much as I'd like to do. I don't know exactly what that would look like. I know that I was looking at doing some volunteering at events or whatever, but that turned out to, of course, me being more on the recipient side of things, which, you know, isn't bad either, but it's not all I wanted to be, right? And so, yeah, I found out about a hamper. I go to workshops occasionally in groups, and yeah, so. Um, so that could even be another way to answer the question: is what is something that you've started doing since a loved one has passed away, or since a connection has faded, that that really helps you out, that really helps you through your days, or in hard times. I personally think it's a great question. So I keep trying to approach it in different ways. Um, and just to the third person that's here, welcome. Glad to have you here. If you at all hear the radio and you hear it talking, this is a non-monetized set video, so even if it's music, and if it mentions a particular city or station, let's realize that, truth be told, sometimes stations broadcast in multiple places. So I'm going to go back to this for a few minutes while I'm waiting for you all to say your thoughts on what I just said. And sorry that it was a lot, but I'll give you time. I'll try to anyway. But another thing I will state though is that, like, I wish that there was more that I could do, to live, to yeah. I just can't think of what that would be. Man, you're in a kitcheny mood, and very British, I might add. But it's interesting. I'm reading something right now, and it's more about what I read in it previously. It's very, very interesting. Like, for instance, no way that that a loved one may pass is pleasant. When I hear a medium sometimes say, "Did they die in a tragedy?" Well, they died, so yeah, kind of thing. It's kind of like, the one that's funny. Oh no, that's a different song. But anyway, basically, um, uh, the character or the person. Essentially a mini biography. Um, when her husband passed away, or first partner passed away, took his life. Not to get hugely into that topic, but she uh, was expressing feelings that she had, such as, oh, I felt so bad that he couldn't come and talk to me. I felt like maybe I was mean to him, or this and that, like she was, and this and that. And then when she looked at the things a little bit deeper, she realized that actually she was feeling shame. So sometimes, and as Ray would say, feel the feels. Sometimes we don't realize that how we're carrying something like that. You know, and maybe this is an opportunity to grow and, um, look at it differently. Just a thought. But yeah, apparently her kids were quite young, or at least that's how she's seen them, because she was a mother. No logical answer. I don't agree with that, lady. I'm sorry. Um, her kid asked her why her first partner would have done that, and she says there's no logical answer. And this is where I talk about prevention, or this is where I talk about how it's important to talk about feelings, because the truth be told is that, I mean, we can't know what somebody doesn't tell us. Their internal struggles or whatever. If they don't open up about them, then we can't, or if they keep a distance from us in their life, such as certain someone's father that has been mentioned a little bit here. Um, and I understand that that's hard, to grow up without that and without those answers. But um, that particular way, nobody does it just because they want to. I mean, sure, they may have loved ones in heaven that they miss, but nobody does it just because they want to. They do it because they're struggling with something. And, honestly, those left behind shouldn't necessarily feel fault if they couldn't prevent what they didn't really know what was happening, or if they did, if the person wasn't open with them, or you know, I want people to know that I kind of sense from the other side, but also just in general feel that they they don't not love or care about you. They don't. Um, you know, they didn't mean to do it to you. Um, when you keep things inside, but sometimes even when you don't, life can be really challenging. And if I'm going to be open and honest with you for a moment, okay, I don't want you guys to worry about me and when I'm not live, although that is often, because sometimes the old device that I email on is wonky. But I have thought of such things myself. I think a lot of us have, to be quite honest. Well, obviously, a lot of us have. I would say most of us have. Um, we may not admit it, and I don't often admit it, or, well, I don't know if it would be accurate to say I don't feel it often, though. That's the thing. Um, um, but do you guys get what I'm trying to share? Like, this is more than just talking about crumpets. You know what I mean? Um, and my voice is getting a little bit tired, but and we are this far in. But I mean, and as some of you know, and I feel like my dad wants to say something, but I feel like I'm not in a headspace to receive it, which is a very rare feeling. I'm trying to be optimistic about some things upcoming that I think could be really great to see happen. But at the moment, I'm not seeing that they're very likely to happen. And if Dad was still alive, he would make sure that they did. And he would have long before now, and I'd probably be in a different position in my life, to be quite honest. Um, I know G's doing his best, but, you know, he doesn't drive either, you know. Um, yeah, I've got my mother, but it's a little awkward at times. And she, maybe if I gave her notice, she would be available then, but she's not fast moving in the morning. It's interesting that my step is taking a physio group class, and they each got an individual working beside them, like with them. Um, but neither of them are fast moving in the morning, neither am I. But it would be easier if I have a ride to the thing. Well, I'm going to try and contact that one friend. What window is this in? That is true. That is true. So, it's not like they just pass away and we forget about them. I mean, even if we didn't sense that they were always with us, we wouldn't. But for me, that's what makes it especially hard to keep it in, because they pop in, you know, I guess when we need them to. And I find my way back to this individual site who I figured out how to approach it now. I just don't want to do it too soon, but I want to give him notice. But I think he's probably going to be going to the event. Oh, my chest is sore. Anyway, and I think it's just kind of the semi-randomness of it. But that answer is right there for that thing. As far as the other thing I'm hoping to do, I could ask him as well if he can go to the other thing and he can help me get there, great. If he's not going to it, either way, I think I should probably mention this to him. He might be interested in it. I know he's into music. I don't know if he's into and he likes collaborating. Oh, and that's very interesting. Oh my gosh. I don't know if he's in the GLBT community, but apparently he works with the GLBT community. So, although it's a male robot, but yeah. So, anyway, so okay, so I'm feeling, yeah, I can reach out to this guy. I might even do it before. And it might, as long as everything goes as planned for him, and if he's planning to go to it, then maybe asking him to help me get there. Yeah. So that takes care of those two things. And I think, unfortunately, I've already decided about the audition thing. And you guys know our channel, right? So I need to slow down in a moment. I think I've gotten a page or two past where I was. This is a nice exercise, though, I must admit. But Ray says, yes, she'd like us all to do it, my friend Ray. But first of all, she's saying to me, there is still hope that I might find something other than my usual way of being involved in a particular festival. And if I do, you gonna ever stop eating? You went from crumpets to toast. They're practically the same thing. Well, not really, but But thanks for all the food updates. Anyway, hopefully I still get some opportunities. But Ray says, you know what? And you do deserve them. And I hope that you do. But if you don't, know that you're still going to have lots of fun, with the people that you care about, and maybe even meet some people, and you're going to have a good time. And I'm really sorry that it didn't happen while we were able to. But and I think this is the second year since. She's like, yeah, but I was with you in ways, whether you remember them or not, the first time, and I will be again this time. And I did also make certain things happen last time, she's saying to me. You went with certain people, and yes, that ever so slightly surprised me, because I mean, I wasn't that close to them. She's like, yeah, I mean, we had something to do with that happening. Even if it's not obvious sometimes that our angels are doing things to help us in our life, they are. It can totally sometimes not be obvious, though. So I might wrap it up with this. We'll see. But think about the roles and aspects of your life. Are you a parent, child, partner, spouse? I guess there's a difference between the two, sure. Friend, co-worker, leader, volunteer, community member. Choose 2 or 3 from the above. Write down your accomplishments in each of those roles. What's good and which you are proud of. Read them to a loved one and congratulate yourself. As mentioned a little earlier, I'm not yet a parent. Whether I ever will be isn't apparent. I'm older than a child, obviously. I am a spouse. I am a friend. And I bring similar things to both of those, to be honest. I believe so, but that's off topic. I've moved on past crumpets. In fact, I got very deep there especially deep for a moment there, and I'm not too sure either of you. And the third person wasn't here. Either of you realized that. How? I don't know. How you missed it. But anyway. But I do sense Dad saying that I don't need to focus on ever having had those feelings or sometimes still having them. And I really appreciate the YouTube community. And this kind of stuff doesn't happen super often, but a bit more often than it used to. And I'm just going to have a moment here and invite you to join it and witness it. And I'm going to say, like, but like, first of all, yes, happy to have a home. Even if I don't get outside today, happy to have sunshine shining, let in some fresh air. Happy to have the YouTube channel and community. Happy to have G, happy to have our dog. He says, I know you want more than that. He says, I know you're thankful for those things, but I know you want more of that than that in your life. Okay, I don't want to be making you uncomfortable. I'm really, really sorry. I'm sorry. I'm also I'm glad that you were at least really close and maybe you did get something from it. And I'm curious what stood out most for you. But yeah, I'm not trying to force, you to say something you don't want to say. But you get to know a little bit more about me. And there was something else I was going to say, but I can't remember what. So anyway, he says, I know you want a little bit more than that. And he says, you know what? I think it starts with a call to your former friend, says to me. And I think you feel a lot better when you have those things on that date which could bring greatness to you set. You know that things can change, but sometimes they don't. And I don't want to go there in my head, and in fact, I guess they're rolling now, but I am going to wrap up soon. So I could catch some of it, and I'll bring up that one comment. We'll see where we're going to go with it. So I think I will wrap up now because I just remembered something. But basically, yeah, whether certain loved ones that I go to that festival with have passed away or not, I'm still good. And whether I get certain opportunities they may want in it or not, I'm still going to go. I'm still going to have fun. And I might go in their honor if they're not still living, but hopefully they will be. And that's, and that's a very important thing. I think that we should all be doing things, it's not forced. It's if we want to, it's if we can. But, to honor our loved ones, making a favorite food that they liked, going to a favorite place, listening to a favorite song. So I hope you do that. I hope you find healing in it. I wish you a great day. I thank you for being here and being in my life and on my life. And I'm going to keep trying to be strong. I'm going to try and be patient, even though there's uncertainties, even though there's the anticipation and the excitedness about the things I have upcoming. If anybody wants to comment after this video is posted, because I'm very soon to wrap up, how some strategies around doing that, especially when things aren't that busy in life, because that's when it's harder. If you have enough other things keeping you busy and distracted, then you're not really thinking about, I mean, you might still think about the stuff you're excited for to come, but when there's specific things, it's certainly, but yeah, anyway, it looks like Kelly aren't live, which is very strange. They're about 10 minutes late. They were a bit late last time. Today's Tuesday, right? Let me just quickly check. Do they not? They don't say what days they roll. Fridays for sure. I thought Tuesday was the other day. They ain't rolling. I don't know why. Oh, actually, I do know why. And even though he said a certain something that I slightly took offense to, um, obviously I was this close to watching, but he was actually. They're both sick with a cold right now. I'm surprised my sinus is in my throat and not more congested after all this talking, especially since I wasn't, I'm not feeling super great. But so I guess I'll put it to you guys. Is there something that you'd like to talk about or a song you'd like me to do? Would you like to keep watching if I figured out what we could do? Because I might be available. I don't know. I'm not exactly doing anything else. Although I would like to call that guy. I don't know if I should call him during his lunch break, if he takes that all the time at noon, but I definitely think I should call him. And as much as he has a helpful nature and this and that, I don't know if he's just going to say yes if I don't say that I've previously known him. So I think you might recognize my voice. I don't know. I think I should say that. Um, what I could also do is make the phone call and let you hear some of it so you could hear how some of it goes, especially my end of it, or if it's not, some of it might be a little bit too specific, but it wouldn't be a long call, and most of it probably wouldn't be. I mean, and then I can talk to Kat about how that went, how the Sheila things went, about the Kim thing, and we'll go from there, and the disappointment with the audition. So, yeah, I'm kind of thinking of doing that. And it is, if he had his lunch at noon, it's like 1:45 now, but it's still within his lunch hour. So that might be, it's not that this isn't a business call, though, because I might be interested in what he does work wise. Uh, I saw a phone number there, didn't I? Yeah. Yeah, I would like for someone else to do the talking. And I'm likely to read the comments if I see them. So I'm gonna make a very quick phone call. I'll keep rolling because if you guys are wanting to be here, that's cool. I don't mind you being here during the phone call too. Anything that I don't want, heard specifically, I will do it out of ear view. We love you. He'll love you regardless of it. And then I'll call G. Hopefully with some good news. Oh, okay. I'll be right back. Hi, Joey. It rang once and then went right to voicemail. My name is Colton. Now, see, different people, different, hopefully not heart shattering, different people remember different things, right? I keep it over here, but it has to be plugged in. And so I do remember that I had stopped talking with him at one point in time. Um, and I don't remember why, though. So is that a good enough reason to not stay in contact with someone? I think in this case it's not. But what about in general? If you don't remember, but you do feel like it was something. Because part of me feels like that doesn't mean it wasn't something small or that it was something small. And unfortunately, I don't use that page anymore that I talked with him on. So he's got a lot of fancy letters after his name, but whatever. So I don't remember what it was. I didn't. 4 decades he's been doing that for. 4 decades. For 4 decades. I'd had no idea he did that kind of work. If I would have known this, but again, that's not the context that we knew each other in. And it was a very structured practicing for gigs with a big group context. And, I don't think I knew about any of them's jobs, to be honest. It just didn't really, and I didn't really see them at music venues. It just never really came up. So, I mean, but if it had, or if the thing with Barry had went better, or if Dad was still alive, you got to wonder sometimes with how life might look different. But then I guess it's what it's meant to be, right? Um, and to remember that doesn't mean that it can't get better. So, who do we got watching still? It says 3, but one of them just came in. Welcome, by the way. I've been rolling for a while. This one, the Augs haven't been as helpful, and there's been quite a bit in chat, but yeah, it's been a little bit, yeah, it's been interesting, that's for sure. Yeah, it may have seemed like I was reaching out to him because of the ride, but it was also because I'd like to reconnect. I mean, yeah, so. Oh, listen to this song. Again, this is not montage. Call me up just the other day. I'd like to do this song, I think. Or do it. I don't know. But a long time can be a long time, but not a long time. It can be 32 years, for instance, and we're at 3 and 3, but whatever. A long time, so have a good time. The sun will shine any day. And the sun is shining in the crazy city. Sun is shining. Ooh. What were you saying you realized, by the way, Justin? We're here for a good time. Not always a long time. So have a good time. The sun can shine any day. Didn't really feel like dancing, but I did feel a little bit stiff. So ain't nothing wrong with a little dancing. In this crazy city, and the sun is shining. I was gonna say it's a pity. Well, when you can't get out in that easily. Now there, you have shed tears. Every now and then you say, we're here for a good time. Spanish dancing. Hopefully not double. Sun can shine any day. Don't remember who does this song unless it's Supertramp. I don't understand that line either, but anyway. We're here for a good time, not a long time. But thank you for your time today. I'm glad I can stream during the day again. Sure helps the day get some variety, some communication when it's otherwise quiet. Gets me moving and grooving. And being able to prove it out. Yes, that was kind of near the beginning. Not my fault somebody underage came in and I tried to shoot it. Right? Have a good time. Have a long time. Anyway. Let's see what's next. Let's see what's next. But the dog definitely knows I'm home now if he didn't now, so I should probably go upstairs and bring him back down. At the moment. But honestly, and that helped me feel a little bit lighter, but honestly, as you could tell, I was also feeling really stressed and heavy and uncertain, and I still am a little bit. 1, 3. And also, not just because of that, I think also just because sometimes I just happen to feel this, even when I'm not feeling those things, my chest is a bit sore. And I mean, I've been sitting and don't be what? I mean, I'm going to feel what I feel, just like you're going to feel what you're going to feel. I can sit here and tell you, and I think makes a lot of sense. You know, you should want to talk about those things. But, you know, if you don't, you don't. I maybe shouldn't feel the things I do, but it's totally understandable that I do sometimes. And if I'm going to feel them, I feel them. Well, I mean, it is a genetic condition. It is a living life condition in a lot of ways. And it is something that I struggle with. And I may feel a little disappointed that sometimes I struggle with it, but I'm not ashamed to say that. Just like I'm not ashamed to say anything else about myself, you know? Yeah, so. But I do hope that it starts to change for the better. Like Dad kind of mentioned, and I was kind of saying too, you know, that I know I have good in my life. I do. And I appreciate you guys as well. But I do want some things to improve. I would just say it goes beyond even a want to a need. But when you have been given limitations or society makes it difficult, you know, we live in a big world. Lots of people want opportunities. Not everybody's going to get a lot of them. Some people will get a lot of them, you know. And it's really hard because, yeah, you know, as much as I'm happy for most of those people. I should play basketball because I know that thing, right? Yeah. Much as I'm happy for those people, you know, but it's just like the band thing. Like, Ray's gonna say, let us put this in a different way, you know. He says, I was lucky. I had a vehicle. I had a pretty closely connected family, and I was pretty happy. That's interesting statement, but I agree. She says, I was pretty happy. Or she says happy chappy with how my life was, with my career, with my family, with my friendship circle. Again, very thankful that you were part of that, she says to me. But she's actually saying to me, I know that she can observe me more now that she's passed away than she could then. And I mean, it's still hard sometimes if I'm not sensing things or if I don't know what to make of it or whatever. But she says, you know that, you know, and that's sometimes how that's how it happens sometimes. Sometimes we're not close with a loved one. And when we pass away, either we sense them more and we feel like we are closer to them, or they are just able to watch us more. And so she says, you're right. You do have a lot to be thankful for, but I can understand. She says, I can understand that you're trying to do a lot of good, and by the way, you are doing for others, and that is also great for you. But she says, yeah, I should as well. But he's had a couple bucks to get more. Right now, I'm waiting for a phone call, and I got to make one soon. But what she's saying, should be part of mentioned in her legacy is that she had fun in life. She says it's good to be careful in life. And, we can't do everything we may want. But she says that she doesn't regret most of the fun that she allowed herself to have in life. It made life worth living. So she says, you know what? She says, I really think you just need to get better at accepting that sometimes things won't work out. And that it makes you appreciate when things do work out, or when, you're live streaming almost all, I had a bit of a stressful moment with G the other day, right before bed. But he said, no, you're doing actually pretty all right. You're doing good with the channel. I can't remember what else he said. I'm sure there was more than about that. And it was validating, to be quite honest. He says, I'm proud of you, bud, for making that phone call. We all are. We hope you get to do the things that you want to do. Make the connections, the type of connections that you want to make. So that you can feel like you're living your life with more purpose and authenticity, although I'm very authentic, and joy, a little bit more joy. A little bit more joy and a little bit more joy. And it's kind of interesting because she says, I do think that you would have been really gotten along with mine, she says. And maybe that'll happen in the future. She says, I know something that you might be thinking, which honestly I hadn't thought of very much. But she says that, you might think of him when you think of this other individual. But realize that they're each individuals, and that the greatness you deserve can come your way. Well, I sometimes do too. I'm thinking I do need to take a bit of a rest. When that guy calls, he'll be at work. He probably won't talk for very long with me. But hopefully, we'll have a nice conversation. We'll be on the same page, and we'll plan to connect. And then I'll be thinking until that date comes. And I wouldn't want to necessarily put a time in between because he might be too busy for it. And I don't want to have to go anywhere if he doesn't have to go anywhere because he wants to save stuff home. And just in case something kind of came up, I'd rather not take a chance, but and if he can only bring me one way and the weather's better by then, if he can take my bike, especially in the morning, like you would be working, and then the other thing, then yeah. So he does look a bit like Sheila's son, but yeah, a little bit. He might be a bit older than him, but looks a bit like me, actually. Twin flame. How far is the event? But yeah, so what I'm saying is possibly not this afternoon, but maybe this evening. I mean, it's something I like to do in the evening, and I'm not the busiest. I mean, I do stuff online a little bit, and every now and then I have something else, but I'm not the busiest. So it's lovely to come here and chat with folks and maybe do some music and all that. How far is it? There's two things on that date. One of them is probably about, well, if we're talking by foot in our icy, still kind of wintry weather, too far. And my bike probably couldn't do it. But I would say, yeah, no, that's what I'm answering. And you're like, no, how long to travel there? I would say, like by car, 15 or 20 minutes, I would say. Parking can be a little tricky there, but I mean, if he's going anyway, then he has to deal with the parking anyway. Uh, so by bike, well, I don't know if biking would be the option because there might not be a place to put it. With the first thing, there might be, and it's bright and early in rush hour. Uh, I would say it's probably double that in any other way. It is true because it's so damn early. I mean, my mother knew ahead of time, and then she brought me there, and then she went back to bed for a bit, or tried to, and then went to work. Then I just have to worry about the way back. That actually might be the way to do it. But I found out that he goes to these things because of their social media page, and so I would say that. And then this thing I found out because of the other one. They weren't sure when they were going to do the next one, and they only they said, yeah, we'll do it again next month, possibly even twice. And that is a little further than the first thing, which I think almost always happens there locally, and also online. There's a way of doing it online, but you don't get the free breakfast. You don't get to socialize with the people in person. And even though it's early and I like to pace myself a bit, but and it might be something I'll be able to do some speaking at some point. But the other thing later that day, and if I had to, yeah, I think we can make it work. The more I think about the mother option, and maybe I could let her know. Though, I mean, I still can't really afford to have this photo on a network, and she's not on Messenger. Like, well, but maybe I can borrow his phone, and if he can bring me, call her and say I don't need you to leave work. But then, yeah, she'd be leaving work. I mean, she works from home, accommodating boss, but I don't know if she'd be willing to ask or not. Like I said, the first one, if she could actually get me there before she starts. It would be after her meeting. She could work late, or she could work in some evening hours to make up for it. So that might work. And just having to do one of them, she doesn't get dolled up or whatever. She's just gonna be in the car. It'd be lovely if she goes thing. Yeah, probably he's like, he's a good kind of person to go to these kind of events because he's a good kind of person with his coaching background. But yeah, so basically, if he can bring me, I let her know that he can bring me. If he can't, I say I need a ride. And I don't think my step is working again since he had a stroke not super recent ago, but not super long ago either. And he's been going to physio, and I think he can drive. And even though I sometimes find him difficult to be around, if I needed a way back, I could ask him. But I think the first thing Joey's more likely to go to, well, not more likely, might be planning to already. The other thing, I don't know. But yeah, I found out about that from the previous one of the other thing. It was done in this speed dating kind of way, where they had chairs facing each other, and we only got beyond to the end of the first row. But and it didn't go as rapid as quick as I thought it was going to. But yeah, so I think the third or fourth person I spoke to, he mentioned that this particular thing. Not staying on, I might come back and do so. Exactly, yeah. Unfortunately, though, it's about a week and a half away still. So, that's like I say, I need some tips for being patient and waiting for things that you're excited and a little uncertain about, because that I find really hard. So, but yeah, I'm feeling a little bit more optimistic about that particular day now. You know what? I'm very sorry. I really, truly hate to do this. And maybe it's a bad memory. I don't know. But Oliver, I've asked you not to use people's specific names like that before. And I don't know if I should have fully hid him from the channel, but or if I should have just removed him as a mod. But I'm not even sure how he knows, to be honest, but whatever. Anyway. And then I need to get out of my head that possible audition thing. Guy couldn't answer a simple question. Why would I want to be in his production? Which there was a small part of me that thought that maybe it wasn't a fit. But the guitar aspect, the acting aspect, it sounded interesting. It sounded intriguing. It's actually in a church of a place I used to go to open mics at, which keeps coming out. I don't know if that's telling me I should try and go to that, but that's not exactly close by either. That is probably 45 minutes and over a big, long bridge. And then about 10 minutes past that, 10 or 15 minutes past that. So maybe even closer to an hour. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't sound far for someone who's a driver. And I think I'll be able to work that out. But if I can't, it may be a little too much. Anyway. Okay, that's weird. See, it did that reset thing. And it's still at an hour and a half, but it's actually more like 2.5. But anyway, so if you haven't yet, and I've said, or you liking something about this, please give the video a like. If I haven't read your comments, but you put some, well, at the moment, my computer's being slow and I can't move my pointer. Dustin, are you still there? Am I missing anything? Anybody other than you? And it's unfortunate about Oliver, but that being said, I could use another mod now, and I think that you respect our privacy. Yeah, he it's not a matter of if he's accurate or not. Oh, he was saying the name of somebody who might not want their name said here, uh, if he was being accurate. And I mentioned that to him 2 or 3 times, but he still said it. I don't know if it was forgetfulness or what, but third time's the Prince Charming is, the other thing they say. But I mean, sometimes it's good to be a bit more lenient, but I don't know. It felt like it wasn't being respected. So, but I can make you a standard mod. The only time I really feel like I need it is when I'm playing music and trying to focus on a specific song, or when I'm struggling to keep up with the chat and stuff. I thought I had mentioned, but anyway, if anybody's obviously being trolls. But other than that, have I missed anything other than the 2 of you in the past 15, 20 minutes? I don't know what I should have done, to be honest. But whatever I did click, I've clicked it now. So okay, good. So yeah, hopefully I don't miss these events. And I think that there was some good nuggets and aspects, good things within this for myself and for others to hopefully. Well, he was, but don't you think that respecting someone's, I hate to use this word because I think it's overly used and it's a good way of avoiding social communication type things. But don't you think that and again, I almost hate the word, but at the same time, it does make some sense sometimes. Don't you think that he wasn't respecting the boundary by saying that name like 3 or 4 times within, I would say, about an hour? And each time he said it, I removed the comment and told him not to. I mean, I'm not saying he doesn't. I'm not saying he doesn't, and I don't know now how he will react to having had that happen. So I kind of think that we should kind of just leave it be. I mean, if it comes back in some other way, we can see about it then. But this is where communication and respecting people's comfort. I mean, yeah, this is where communication is important. And I think it's totally understandable to be a bit anonymous on here. You know, doesn't mean that I'm also not very open. And sometimes I wonder if I'm too open. I just hope that people will do the right thing with what I say and not, twist it or use it, to with bad intent. But and I know he wouldn't. This is the thing. I could just say I misclicked something, but if he's going to keep doing that, it's going to keep bothering me. Like with the situation of the topic we were talking about earlier, right? But I don't have to say our names. I don't have to say exactly where we live. Like there's ways to be, you know. I know with that other thing, I did keep, but that was because it was something I wanted to talk about. I wasn't making you, say anything about it. I mean, I was wanting you to be comfortable if you chose to, but otherwise, it was just that I wanted to talk about it, and I thought maybe the way that it was approached may make some sort of difference. Um, and you did respond a little bit to what I said, so I appreciate that. But and mostly that would be a good thing. And otherwise, I mean, I have, I think that some people are a little bit too open. Like they put their address, they put their phone numbers, they put, on here, and I don't think that's smart. You know, um, and a certain somebody is a little bit more open, but I'm usually pretty good at curbing that. So exactly, a lot of great people too, but so it's okay to be a little cautious, as far as I say. But speaking of, uh, yeah, um, so yeah, I just think that there was no. I mean, it is a bit more personable. So if that's why he was doing it, because he felt it was more personable, but still, I'd asked him not to. So, and not just once. So, and I do sometimes struggle with patience, as I mentioned, and I'd still like some tips and strategies. And so it was kind of getting to me. Um, in somebody else's community for about 2 or 3 weeks, maybe 2 or 3 times a week, a little bit. And then he's been on about maybe 6 or 7 of my videos. So not a little, but not a lot either. He certainly wasn't super shy, but I know that a couple of times recently he was a bit hard to read, and like he was holding back a little bit. But then he later just said he has ADHD, which I understand, and his moods fluctuate. But that has nothing to do with what he did. I mean, yeah, he was multitasking. He should have been well done in the kitchen by now. I mean, he was just like he already had his buffet, and I wasn't being quiet. I wasn't whispering or anything. So I don't know. But I am feeling like I want to rest my voice for a little bit. Otherwise, I'm going to develop a bad cough that I'm going to have for the rest of the day or whatever. Well, I mean, so it's something that we learned from. I don't think you would have done that same thing anyway, but if you would have, now you see how it gets to me. So I mean, but communication is very important. I think a lot of people shy away and avoid from it, and then they lose some you know pretty good connections. Like Mark talking about now how he tries to stay in contact with folks, but he sometimes tries to avoid bringing up something that happened. I don't think that's a way to do it, and it's going to come back. Like because, and it hasn't been that long, but like this one particular streamer, who I know is great. I think some of the media he likes isn't great, but it's really hard to not like him and Kelly, especially him, but him and Kelly. And I don't know if he's one of the fours that's watching right now, but yeah, it's not been helpful. He said a little something. I don't think I misinterpreted it. There's no other way to interpret it really, um, except from maybe joking, but wasn't that funny. And basically, and I'm still, I would have went to their stream today, and I was intending to bring it up. Oh, here's the insight from Himbler. For sure, for real, Mark. Like seriously, like he was saying G was, but so am I. So am I, and maybe I want a little recognition and validation for that, and I guess I do otherwise get it. But like, why didn't I get it from him? You know what I mean? We can all sometimes say or do things to annoy or upset each other. Yeah, I don't. I can only think of one example, Rich, with you that came up, you and I. But other than that, I mean, we haven't known each other super long, but sure, we go through those things sometimes. But I would say, for the most part, I haven't. And I would say that I'm a bit more methodical or intentional, or as I'm writing something, it's almost as if sometimes, and even occasionally when I'm saying it, but that's a little bit different, as I'm, well, just about the topic, the initial topic that I had for this video. But again, I just addressed that a moment ago, again, and I thank you for understanding that it was something that this is my stream. I'm going to talk about what I want to talk about, and maybe felt the need to talk about it. And you sat and listened, and you chimed in when you felt comfortable, and that's good. That's fine. Am I disappointed that you didn't say more on it? Maybe, but I'm not going to make you either. So, I mean, but other than that, like if you're worried about something happening between us like that, like, I'm hoping that we would be able to address it before it became a thing. And that it wouldn't take 3 or 4 times to do so for it to be understood, but yeah, so if you're more comfortable emailing it to me, you're welcome to do that. I know that I personally gave you that method, but if not, again, that's fine. I mean, I'm a very curious individual, and it's certainly sparking my curiosity. Like, what could it be? What could it be? And you know that I'm not a judgy person, but I'll leave it at that. But at least I try not to be. So yeah, it's a little disappointing. I don't feel like the connection with him was that deep. I appreciated it, but I don't. I feel like we're a bit more on a similar wavelength, Dustin. But anyway, I've got a phone call to make about something non-related. I'm expecting a phone call. You know the one. And other than that, I'm gonna go back to watching my movie. I think that I was watching, because after this great big long stream, I'm tired. So we'll see if I roll again later tonight, if I feel up to it and I have an idea. Other than that, thank you for being here. And, honestly, some people should keep their comments to themselves too. I don't know what it turned, right. I don't know. Some people are annoying me. Not people I know, people in a group. I mean, I could make this a bit shorter if I've truly decided that I'm not going to audition for that show. I might need a little bit of input on that. I could take that part out. Because it's not a matter of so far nobody's offering that ride. It's a matter of, thank you. It's a matter of, okay, maybe I'm not quite wrapping up, but shortly I will be. It's a matter of, like, do you think that it's understandable and therefore the way that I should look at this, where when I ask somebody what days and times will the rehearsals occur, they just clarify the location and don't answer that part? When I think you were here when I read what I sent them, either way, it wasn't more than 10 lines. And some people may say, why did it have to be 10 lines? Well, I kind of stated that, but irregardless, like it shouldn't have been hard to answer that question, or at least tell me I don't know yet. You know what I mean? So should that turn me off of wanting that opportunity? Because there's a part of me that doesn't want it to, but there's a part of me that makes sense of that. Now, G might be on his lunch, and it would be an opportunity for somebody else to out loud do some talking, because I'm reading the comments too. You know, if you can get there by yourself. No, we addressed the other two things, and I think we made progress. I'm talking about an audition for a show that I want to do. I am very familiar with the spot. Like I say, that's the one that's about 45 minutes to an hour away. So, I mean, as the weather gets nicer, sure, but then again, you might like to get to the thing. I'm hoping that maybe if I met some people, although it's not a huge cast, which means more money too, I'm hoping that there might be somebody that can give it a ride. I don't know if it should be the one that's putting it on, but when you couldn't answer that simple question, should that be like, should that be a no to the opportunity? I mean, he's going to have to answer it eventually. I need to know if I'm getting. I mean, it's entirely possible, and maybe he just didn't want to assume that that's why I was asking. But I said why I was asking. I said that I was asking to know if this was accessible. I said I know the location fairly well. I might be able to work that out, but I'm having to rely on somebody else to get me there. Essentially, is what I pretty much did say. I need to know when, what day, and what time. And if it's that he just doesn't want random people showing up, or it's going to be different days and times, maybe that's, but then tell me that, you know, or, and if he really felt the need, although I can understand how I might not want to like assume that I'm going to do it, but he could, you know, this is where communication and being, you know, honest with, thinking something through and being honest with your thoughts is helpful. He could say, I'm not saying that you would do this, but if you audition and we do not pick you, we can't have you. I mean, it's not like I would do this. I mean, it's way too inconvenient and I just wouldn't do it, and this person doesn't know me at all. But, basically, L, yes, important to be on the line. What do you mean by that? Anyway, to say, if you show up and we didn't pick you for the part, we will have to tell you to leave, and hopefully you'll listen to us. But I'm not even going to go if they don't pick me for the part. Like, and again, a good way of making it seem like I'm not assuming you're going to do this is to say, I'm not assuming you're going to do this. So I truly mean no offense to you. I'm hesitant to tell you because somebody might do this, but, but it's not instructions I have. It would be on his. It's information I need from him. Like, so, being clear about it works both ways. and I just feel like, you know, yeah, he gave me one of the answers, which was great. There was only one other kind of two-part, very easy question I asked. And I've got to wonder what he would be like to be in his performance piece. Some people misuse the role of being a boss or a director or something like that too. They don't do it well, right? And I can just see him suggesting things that don't make sense, or like I think a great attribute for a boss or a director or whatever is if somebody unintentionally just goes and does something, and then it's like, okay, that's not the way we usually do it, but you know what, if that works for you, we're not against you doing it that way necessarily, kind of thing. If most of the time I think that would be doable. It's thank you for the fourth like. But it's kind of like, or like Kelly was talking about somebody that was supposed to be an admin staff and she was doing a bunch of other stuff. And she got promoted, actually. Well, she took the initiative. Maybe she felt like she could do more. She's seen that it needed to be done. And I understand staying within your roles, and if nobody's saying don't, sometimes we're not meant to be entry level, but you got to start somewhere, right? And it's not even a matter of training entirely. Some people are just very much, about taking the initiative, being independent, but I also think like, I sometimes think I'd be better as a director. Like I sometimes, like in this thing, what if I did something a certain way and he said he didn't like it? I actually might struggle. It's not just my health, but I have to consider my health too and the getting there and that. But I might also kind of be like, I thought it actually was pretty good. I mean, why don't you like it? And what if he said, I don't have to tell you why I don't like it. This is how I see it, how I want to do it. It's not that I can't follow instructions, and it's not that I want it all my way. But if I make an honest mistake and then it works out well, I'd at least like it to be acknowledged. Like, yeah, that was really great, but I want it this way. Like that would probably sit okay with me. Or better yet, find a way to do a little bit of both. So with all that additional stuff said, I know that you said that you can't answer that for me, but I can't answer it for me either. So take a shot at it, please, because I need to figure this out. Because I believe it's, sometime in the next 5 days. And I should prep a little bit beforehand, not too much. I don't want to overdo it, and it's not certain, but I should look at it a little bit before the 15th to send it through. So I just have to very quickly make a quick phone call, under 5 minutes. I'll be in the other room, actually. Don't mind if you're around. But yeah, what's what you mean? And yeah, if like I say, I think that, and the other two people are welcome to weigh in on what you've heard. Just do it respectfully. And if I'm currently not on the tab, but I can go back to it or try to. All right. But yeah, basically, I think that we're on a similar wavelength, Dustin, for the most part. So I don't know if you've done acting stuff or not, but what would you do? And if he sees this, well, then I'm giving him positive points, and it would be very random if he's seen it, but whatever. What would you do with all this info that I've mentioned if you were in this position? And anybody else is welcome to say as well. Feels a little bit kind of, well, then you understand why I'm stuck, right? A little bit late to apologize to anybody that it was a little bit on the topic, the initial topic. I tried my best. Well, I might end up talking with G a little bit about it then, especially since my email was being wonky, and I thought it might be something we'd be both interested in, and that you know, um, I just tell him mine wasn't working. I have his old device, so I actually sent it on behalf of both of us via his, and so he might have noticed that, and if he did, then I could say, and this is where things are at with that. So, but yeah, I think I'm ready to just kind of slow down for a bit and relax. So, if you have any further thoughts on anything that we've spoken about, you can either send them an email or underneath the video once it's posted to the two people that just got here. I am about to wrap up. I don't know. Just a moment, Dustin. I don't know if you really would. I know you feel that, and it's understandable to feel that, but I would challenge that because not challenge. That's not the right word. Um, I know that you're. I think you're an empathic a person with empathy, and I think all you need is the details. Um, and to imagine if you were in that similar situation, and then go with the answer that comes to you, and then tell me what it is. That's all I'm asking for. Um, and then other than that, yeah. The other two will probably have to just check out this video once it's posted, which I'm going to be wrapping it up soon. I know it got a bit long. I had the time for it too. Probably not say anything. As far as with the directions from the person who's putting on the show that is holding auditions, or with, oh, okay, I see. What should I even try? Mentioning what I'm mentioning about what I'm feeling about it, do you think that I could possibly, or is there suggestions, strategies that you have that I could utilize that would make it a bit easier for me? And then also, yeah, I mean, should I look past the fact that he didn't say? Because now I'm thinking there could have been reasons. There could have been reasons that might make sense. I think he still could have given me an answer and communicated better. But as far as to when and what time of day, but it's probably evenings. Honestly, it's probably evenings, and the evenings go so fast on a weekday. And I want to be with G, and if he's not involved in the project, then that would probably mean a no. But it is a small cast. So if they find out between the 2 or 3 people involved that they can do daytime, and the person leading it can do daytime, and anyone else who would be involved, it might be. In which case, woohoo! As long as it was the afternoon when I can get my ride there, or if I figured out the biking. I know I could bring my bike in there pretty comfortably. I don't know if the main doors would be locked, but I could figure that. There's a lot of stairs, but I could figure it out. Be interesting to be in that place again. Yeah. Yeah. Well, this is why I asked. This is why I asked, so that I would be aware of them. Should I just ask again? To say, thanks for clarifying that. That's where I thought. I also noticed you didn't answer this. Part of me thinks it was in plain English the first time. Why should I have to make him be, I mean, it's one of those things. It's kind of like asking for an apology. You feel like someone should just know to give you one if they've done something that warrants one. You know, but I don't know if it's even a generational thing or whatever. But some people just aren't great at that. Or like this isn't a matter of it could be a confrontation. Like I mean, that he's trying to avoid confrontation. I really don't know why he didn't. You know, and so it's like, yeah. like, sometimes you can kind of nudge it or hint it, but like if somebody does something and you think that they should apologize and it's not coming and you would feel better about the situation if it came, especially if it comes out genuinely. I mean, I wouldn't very often do this because it's awkward, but it's kind of like, are you going to apologize or what? It's kind of like saying, are you going to answer my question? You know what I mean? Well, clearly, I asked it because I wanted to clarify. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I'm just asking for good communication. I don't think I'm asking for much. And so I don't think I'm being and I'm not saying he's trying to be difficult, but I'm just saying he potentially could be, is what it's showing me. And do I want that? But at the same time, it sounds like it could be a good fit. It's been a dream of mine to be in this festival in a production. I had almost given up on it ever happening after this many years. And that's partly because I didn't fit the demographic of a show, or I just missed the audition date and they'd filled the roles, or it wasn't my kind of show. I wasn't interested in it. But this one I've seen, he's posted it twice. I've seen it. The first post about 2 or 3 times I've kind of scrolled by it in a group, and the more recent time I looked at it a bit closer. I was like, yeah, maybe, which is why I emailed. The email address is a bit odd, but I look past that. Anyway, I'm going to go quickly call G. I think I'm wrapping up soon, but I'm appreciating this conversation. I don't know how much of it Rakesh has been around for, but I'm glad that we're chatting. And yeah, I feel like I've made progress on. I mean, if I don't hear from Joy, then I have to figure out. I have my other option. Uh, I feel. I feel like, and if I have to get myself home, I could try and do that. I feel like I made progress on the other two, so it's just that one. And then that I'll still feel excited. I'll still feel anticipatory, but I'll feel a bit more certain, much as I can be anyway. There have been aspects of this video that have been about the other person, and you know, this has been a very in-depth and diverse stream, and I'm quite tired. But I am going to go just make a quick phone call, and it's 20 to 2. And I'll see if there's any further chat when I get back. And if so, I'm essentially just waiting for G to come home. I want to finish watching that movie. I want to finish reading this book. I want to cuddle with our dog. But other than that, the area gets very busy soon now with rush hour. So I'm happy to stay inside and away from it all. But I call him around this time. So. Could even have him say hi to you all if you like. Hi, how's it going? Yeah. Oh yeah. I was gonna say I've just been trying to figure out something about updating things. Maybe I made a little bit of progress. I'm not sure, but and I've done a stream. In fact, it is still rolling. As I had that Dustin guy from Scotland, I think he was from. That oh yeah. And then also yeah, I'm quite tired. I'm just kind of helping and hosting and that, but yeah, I guess the day is going at a decent enough pace too. But I remember to call you. Are you on your lunch? Yeah. next time. If you can get the dog stuff like that. I mean, Well, I know you're from the UK. And actually thinking about now, I couldn't remember if you were traveling in Scotland. You were traveling when we first met, right? Were you in Spain? Were you that person? The destined guy who's not destiny, but is destiny. Okay. Yeah, Glasgow, I believe, where my grandparents are from. Let me show you them, even though I just sat down. I don't remember if it was you or somebody else the other day. I said, next time I get up, and I've gotten up since then, but I wasn't rolling at that point or forgot, I would show this. So here it is. My grandmother Dorothy, my grandfather Andrew. This is fallen behind. Oh, no, it didn't. This is, that's me when I was like somewhere between 19 and 23, maybe. Destined, not destiny, but you are destiny in a way. Because, yeah, of our lovely connection. It's destiny, is what I was saying. Did 2 or 3 more there, and it was perfect. So for the second person, unless you add to the conversation, don't expect me to put much into it at this point because it's been a long one and I'm tired. Happy to chat if you say something. But yeah, I think we made some progress. I think with that ladder thing that we were speaking about, I just sat down. So next time, it's not that big a thing anyway. It's just a couple of old people. Well, I mean, they were in their 80s and 90s. And yeah, since I'm still up, I'm feeling. But yeah, so yeah, and sometimes I'll take a comment away. Sometimes I am unintentionally doing it. Sometimes I'll take it away because I worry that somebody might misinterpret it or, you know, whatever. But yeah, so I may or may not ask G about that situation. I think he would say, well, if it's something you really want, then, but again, and my availability is quite available. But if it's like 3 times a week or when it gets closer to the show, and then also my health, like in an hour, sometimes I have to go and be about 4 times, 3 or 4 times. And I can't be doing that if I'm in a show. I mean, and that's worse than it was last year. Like, there's a part of me that wonders how am I even going to do being in the audience because they don't let you come and go. Speaking of the lady from Spain, I think I remember talking with her about that. They don't let you, unless it's a kids' venue, they don't let you go to the washroom and come back. And in some cases, it wouldn't be all that disruptive. And, most people probably wouldn't care. They'd figure if you need to, you need to. But sometimes the doors lock, from the when they close. So, there's a part of me that would be curious to see how I do. And I mean, I don't know if it'd be any worse next year, but there's part of me that'd be curious to see how I do with that this year. But I think if I'm performing, I might both be distracted, but I also it might be kind of something that happens because I'm a little nervous too. I mean, I can't say I've experienced that much, but I'm not usually all that well. I'm mostly not that nervous. And it did say both of their names, and they're unique. Yeah, but that's where this guy is, and I've decided I don't want to work with it. Doesn't matter. I won't message him again. Yeah. But I sort of think G would say look past it. But yeah, now I'm thinking about my health. So, and it would have been similar with the band. Did I tell you how that worked out, by the way, Dustin? might not even be thinking as deeply about all these other things if it hadn't been that and the fact that I need some of stuff. Basically, she got a second job. She claimed she didn't expect to, but I'm thinking you either were trying to get a job or you weren't. I don't know. I mean, not to, I took it. I mean, we're still, I mean, I've not been able to access my Facebook. So she's connected to G and I can still talk with her messenger and maybe in the future. But she, like I say, she had two teenagers and one or two not teenagers that were younger. She already had one job and then she ended up getting another job every other day, nights mostly, which is when most of the gigs would happen. So, yeah, fell through. It fell through. Not anything that I did or that G did. Um, Part of me thinks, there would have potentially eventually been money in gigging, and she had made a I mean, I wasn't thinking this, but now I am. She had made a promise to us, or maybe she didn't feel like it was a confirmed promise. And I knew it wasn't a guarantee, I suppose, but but then I thought, what if something happens and her spouse did or may lose his job? Then they might need that second income and she'll be glad to have it. But then we also kind of thought maybe she'll get that second job and then kind of be like, and if she's one of the two that just tuned in, otherwise she's not likely to see this far in, and she doesn't follow our channel to my knowledge. But if she happened to see this, I mean, it is what it is, and we understand that, and that's fine. But yeah, there's a small, although, and again, it's the health, it's the are the venues safe? Are they accessible? Unfortunately, weapons and violence are so mainstream, seen as entertainment, that unfortunately, some people, especially if they're drunk, go and do certain things. And that makes me, I mean, maybe you know, cafes or whatever, would still, cafes and churches would still be fine. But yeah, and we kind of mostly didn't. But yeah, she might, um, I hope she has her kids are musical too, but not necessarily the age to go into bars with and that. And I don't know about her husband, if he's musical, that is. But, and maybe she wanted it to be a little outside of the family, but, there's still a part of me that kind of hopes that she might say, so I tried to hold down the two jobs and I just couldn't manage doing it. So I'm available for the band again. That's what I'm hoping. I mean, maybe it's a little selfish. I mean, I want things to go well in her life. I do. Of course I do. But I want things to go well in our life too. And I mean, yeah, that could mean many things, but it's also been a long time goal of mine. And it's either somebody's looking for metal, or they're a teenager looking to join a band, or they're outside of the city, or they already have the rehearsal space and it's nowhere that's easy for us to get to. Um, or they mention some of the musical influences, and I'm very diverse, but they're like ones I've never heard of or don't like the sound of or whatever. And every now and then, like there was one person, I saw them post two or three times. One time they were standing on top of an amp. I mean, whatever, but it was a little odd. Um, so that's another thing. I ask myself, is it something I'm meant to keep looking at? Um, wow, it's only 7 or 8 o'clock there, eh? That's something where I ask myself, am I actually meant to be in a band then? Like, I know I have musical talent. I would like to do more with it. It gets to a point sometimes in life when you have hurdles, you start to wonder, are they telling you something? Are they telling you to change your path? Or just to keep trying for similar things, knowing that usually, if not always, mostly you're trying your best, putting yourself out there. And whatever happens because other people are involved and have different priorities or different whatever, has to come with that acceptance. But like one thing I learned in that one place I used to do open mics at, but I know some people from that place that have passed away. Lex has been a bit wonky, the host. Um, it looks pretty much the same. She never had us as a headliner. I think even when I had a bandmate, she once said to me, this one person I'm thinking of now, she said, "Oh, you got pipes. You can sing." And it was like, okay, why can I never be? I mean, I've been struggling with disability and unemployment for quite a while, and yeah, I think I'm as talented. I'm not going to necessarily say more, but as talented as some of the other ones. And I never made a thing. I just said, I just would say, are you looking to add to kind of the main headliners? Because they'd have a main band and then they'd have an open mic afterwards at like 8 or sometimes 9. And actually, I found out that one of my contacts from there, I haven't been in touch with him since being from there, but he was in his 70s. He wasn't really online very much. And I found it a couple of days prior, and it was the most empty obit I'd ever seen. But then I looked on his Facebook, and yes, his middle name is N. Yes, the birth dates were the same. I kind of knew his wife too, but I can't find her online. I knew them only in person. And basically, yeah, apparently he passed away, and I think it was January or June. His birthday was one of those. I think he passed away in January. But anyway, so there's another one, and I mean, I know that they wouldn't want that to be the reason that makes me not go there. It's more the distance. It's more the kind of the host and the fact that, yeah, I didn't get to be, one of the main headliners for one of the Thursdays. And I don't understand why. And it's not that when I asked the first time, I moaned and groaned about it. I said, okay. When she says, no, we're booked up for the next 2 months or whatever. I said, okay. And then I tried again, and it was the same thing. And it could be the truth. It could be the truth, but it's kind of like, again, that would have been where, but you know what? I'll make sure, because you've asked a couple times now, I'll make sure that you're selected in the next series that we book. But instead, she just said, oh, we're already booked for a month or 2, but happy to have you in the open mic slot, essentially, kind of thing. And it's like, and that was great. And I miss that. It was, how did I word it here? Not to be super specific, but I know you're not on the post, and I don't know about the other person, but basically, the street in another area of the city where my dreams used to come true. I mean, I'm very thankful that I perform on here and that I usually have a fairly good audience. But I go back to this on America's Got Talent. Somebody put this in the comment. Can you read this properly? Okay, not that. Are you able to? I know it's a little faint. No, you probably can't. It's not the best picture, and it's tiny. I read it a little earlier. Basically, it's about getting the likes, the approval, the love, the happiness, the opportunity, and the connections in the real world. And I'm fine with the online world being where I get it. I'd like a little bit more if it was also in the real world. But yeah, I've kind of been turned off to going to that place. Yeah, I just summed it up for you. So and ironically, it's at the same place that I thought I might use as a performance or rehearsal place. More so performance. We were already doing rehearsals for the show I was working on, and the same place that this other one's having their rehearsals at. But yeah, so I don't go there. There was a restaurant, like a family restaurant, that had, I guess, a lounge on one side of it. And I was going to go there, and then I found out a year ago somebody got stabbed there. I mean, I know I'm ambivalent about life sometimes, but if it had gotten to the point where I was in a band that was performing, I wouldn't want that to happen. And the other one's been broken with, and I can't remember. Oh, that's it. Yeah, but anyway, so I told that to the girl that I was going to be doing the band with, and she said, yeah, I would want to go to only safe places anyway. I mean, she says, oh, I don't usually go downtown at night. I don't usually go downtown much at all anyway. I don't need to. And it's, again, it's that 20, 30, 35 minutes away from the area I live, you know? Um, but so, I mean, those feelings aren't going away. If I joined a band with another person, and I would hate to do that, and well, we could welcome her in. If I've got just like I would hope she could do. If I got into something that was established, then and then she says, "Okay, I can be in a band again," you know. But again, I just feel like, and we live in a city that has a lot of musical people that are being very successful. But again, a lot of them are okay being in bars, you know. So be right back. I can't remember. I think it was. I kind of think that's not a goal I have. So you know what I'm realizing, whether it's true or not. Where's the phone? What I'm realizing in this is that maybe I'm not meant to be in any theater productions in the future. Maybe I'm not meant to be in a band anymore. It's really quite unfortunate because then I think of the song, "What Was I Made For?" Sorry, this has been deep and intense, but apparently it needed to be. I don't know. You know, I think one thing I'm going to do is, yeah, and people can get mad at me uh, for being honest. They're going to be as well. Like that works both ways. That feeling. I don't know. Anyway, point of the matter being is, and I appreciate it very much. The point of the matter being is, yeah. So this guy who I called earlier and left a message for, again. Next question is, how long do I wait to hear back? And if it's been a few days because I want it to be before the 20th, uh, should I call? I'll call again. You know, sometimes voicemails get missed, or they don't record, or if it's somebody else that checks his business, although I think he's self-employed, maybe they meant to tell him and didn't. You know, so I will follow up with him. And he's a coach. You know, a life coach, and mostly an entrepreneur coach, which I seem to need. I thought I knew enough to be successful about it, even if that wasn't everything I needed to know. I figured I'd learn the rest on the way, and I think in some ways I am, but most certainly not to the level that I would like to be. So I think I need to have. I mean, I don't know if he would charge me to utilize his services. Maybe it's just better to have a connection with him, and you know, the insights that he brings in that connection might be similar to what he would have as a client, and that's good. Yeah, anybody could have done that. And ChatGPT, I think, are a little overly used these days. But I'm just looking at a post. It's not difficult to understand what exactly you need in a concise way. Taking your first post and put it in GPT. It may be helpful. Maybe help may be helpful you in the future. This is what I understand you need. I would suggest you use it for your second and third post. As in the comments. Okay. So yeah, I focus on the life coaching because I like to help people, and I show occasionally that I'm actually pretty good at it. Every now and then, if I get a client to help, you know, give them healing via channeling, great. Other than that, these are the areas that I've only ever, you know, the life coaching one, not like super obviously, but it's always kind of been an interest. Um, the other stuff, it's always, without a doubt, been an interest. And I am seeing a comment that I'm not seeing here, but I'm seeing here, and it looks like it's in Russian. And I don't know why it's only showing on one device. It's as if maybe I bought them on the other one, but then why are they seeing this to begin with? The name is just the country. I don't recognize this at all. And I don't know what they're saying, but they're going ha ha, and I don't believe I'm saying anything funny, so at this point in time, so be gone. Nothing against your culture, but be gone. Uh it's really weird. Like I say, I don't see it here anyway, but I didn't even see a translate option. Thank you. Sorry, you agree with what part? I'm just double checking. I'm glad that you agree, though. Just reading something on my other device here. I mean, it is more concise. I'll give it that. At first, I thought that's a really big comment, and then I realized what you did. Uh, okay. I mean, part of me wondered with that guy if he just was simply rushed and didn't give that information. But I think my other guesses make more sense because it's not hard to say. Yeah, it should have came by now otherwise. So, um, I don't see the comment here. So, and I'm on another tab on my other device now. Yeah, basically transportation is the biggest limitation. And then sometimes it is. Um, now she said something. I don't know how to do that thing though. But few people like it, don't like it. But anyway, anybody else have anything weighing on their mind? A song they might like to hear? Thoughts on the highlighted comments? Still, I think the only one I have put in there. And if it does get into that topic, Dustin, you don't have to stay unless you'd like to. Otherwise, it won't go back into that topic for right now. And I may or may not keep rolling. We'll see. I mean, this has been, I've had the time to do it today. It's been nice and sunny out, but now again, the school semi nearby is letting out. The traffic, people are going to be leaving work shortly. It's just going to be chaotic out there, and I don't have a need to go out. I might join Jeep's dog walk later. I might do that. That was really nice the other day, but I'm going to have to feel a bit better physically than I feel right now. I'm enjoying the sun coming through here. I had the door open a couple of times to let this a bit of fresh air in. Yeah, I mean, I'm just waiting for G to get home, and I don't have any plans. I don't have any plans until these things that I was mentioning, and they're on 2 different dates, maybe 3. Getting it through the window. I think it's just you here right now. Do you know how? I don't want to. Yeah, and then mine is something. But see, that's why I try and open it on both because Okay. Yeah, do you use ChatGPT at all by any chance? Like I've used the other similar thing, but it gives a response. It doesn't necessarily, I guess I could ask it to condense uh, condense what I wrote. I mean, as it is, what she said here, you don't know? Okay, then I don't really know how to explain it, but it's kind of like Grammarly, or like, which I see a lot of advertisement for, or at times I do, especially when I'm watching short music videos, and then every time. So has Rakesh been around at all, by the way, during this? Especially since it's earlier in the day. I think I remember this person before. They maybe even done this before. If they're that helpful to do that, although she said it was very difficult to understand, I don't agree with that. I don't really want to. Oh, really? How long has he been? Hello, Rakesh. I'm almost tempted. Can you guys see if you can ask to join on camera for a moment? I would love that. I don't know if it works in the Gmail. I remember having an audio issue last time I did that. But just for a quick moment, just to, say hi to you on camera. We're this far in, so very few other people will probably see it unless they tune in. I didn't set it up that way on my end. And yeah, I realized something about that, but I still think, what's if it shouldn't use the N word that much? I still think she has road rage and this and that. But this one person I was going to interview, and I don't know where things are with Kathleen, but what type of device are you watching on, and what type of devices do you have? I'm not super techy, but since you're asking, I can try and help. Because when I tried to do it, I was able to send the invite link, and then I got stuck on the page that did that. But maybe all I had to do was click out of it. I was under the impression if I did that it wouldn't send. But okay, same. I mean, I just got this phone. I'm pretty sure it's an Android. I don't know unless I can see what it says on it. Yeah, it's a Samsung. So very similar to ones I've had before, and like what G has. So where would you find it? Do you see three dots anywhere? Or a menu along the side, although my menus along the side don't show it. What I could do, actually, what I'm ready to do is change this up a little bit and kind of slow down myself a little bit, and hear you guys a little bit perhaps. So what I'm thinking of doing is wrapping this one up, then trying to set another one up, doing the thing that I'm thinking of trying. Because if you're not seeing it in menus, that as you're looking here, the both of you, then and what I might do is, I guess I can do it on this one if I can't do it on the other one. There's a bit more feature. Set it to unlisted. That way, only people with a link have it. Now, it might come from G, because he said, is an email up on this new phone that I got. Why? I don't know, other than to help with business emails. I mean, it would have made more sense to put mine on there, but I don't even know what my password is. My device kept it signed in, and I don't know. I'm afraid about getting stuck out of it and not being able to get back in. I don't know how. I mean, yeah, sometimes you can set a code, or it'll say attach a phone number, but I should try doing that actually. Where is the password? Whoops. I don't see it. Oh, here it is. So I'll do that then, because if you're not seeing the menu options otherwise. So stay tuned, and I'll give that a try. Okay.